Futures back in positive territory this morning as we get April retail sales data just coming through. Looks pretty much in line with expectations for April, month over month, a 0.9% increase on the retail sales number. Ex autos, though, up 0.6 versus an increase of 0.4. So tough to see there, but 0.6 versus 0.4 ex autos month over month for April, 0.9 in line with expectations coming off a bit of a choppy start to the week. Yesterday, we had stocks kind of back and forth, negative for a while. We got positive, and then end of the day, basically unchanged. Whole bunch of earnings to get through this morning, coming through from the retail side, but also from China as well. E-commerce giant there, JD.com, with a good report, leading the Chinese stocks higher this morning. Also, reports coming out of China that no new COVID cases. Also, a little bit more positive talk on the COVID front from China, which is good. So the entire group up 3 to 4% here in the pre-market this morning. We are still, however, in downtrend for the overall market, 6 weeks in a row. Remember, for the S&P 500, the longest streak since 2011. Both the Dow and the NASDAQ in that same group as well. So retail sales in line. We get some decent reports outside of Walmart. Wow, the forecast not good for Walmart. Big time move to the downside. Home Depot, though, on the other hand, very strong here in the pre-market. It's Tuesday, May 17th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at where we're at right now. But coming back to the downside here, off of that retail sales number, I guess in line is not good enough for the overall market here. Still positive, though, nicely right across the board. NASDAQ leads 1.7 right now. You can see 1.35 for the S&P. We had crude oil touch 115.5 here in the pre-market, but back to the downside in a big way. Actually went negative there briefly, trying to get back into positive territory for oil, but a big move down there for crude. Bitcoin and Ethereum trying to bounce here as well. So not a huge reaction there for the overall market, guys. Good morning. But as I said, basically in line with expectations for that retail number.
Yeah, basically in line. And things aren't in line for Walmart. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, that's not one. Yeah, it's we'll definitely get into some of the individual names here today. But for the most part, most of the earnings were actually pretty solid across the board, with the exception of Walmart, which we're going to definitely have to talk about today. It's one of these days where you're going to be looking at that stock. Still see a little relative weakness in Tesla. And there's, again, more tit for tat with this Twitter deal. It's now like Twitter's actually trading below when the news came out. So just another set of headwinds there for Twitter. And we'll definitely be talking about them. And Tesla, which still kind of remains a little relatively weak, but the semis are strong, the market is up and looking to try to test last week's highs. That's an important barrier to get through. That's kind of like that thing that hasn't been able to happen. Break some actual resistance to that upside, see if we can't get through last week's tops. But there is a wall there and a few names.
Yeah. Hey, guys, what's up? Yeah, welcome. It's going to be a good day again today. It's nice to start above water here. NASDAQ up 1.8%. And, yeah, we'll do a little backflip because we got that one right yesterday. We talked about Walmart. I was able to get out of that one at 152. We talked about that. We missed the ride up, but then we also said that Walmart was probably not the right name, and Home Depot could be the right name. So there it is right there on yesterday. Home Depot with a nice quarter, and Walmart with, disastrous forward outlook here. We'll see if it takes down that 132.50 coming through. I don't think so. That's a while away. But yeah, look, called that one on Walmart. Pretty happy about it. We're out of the way there. Might have to buy some back at these prices. But like you said, the retail number just came out. It's nice to see XLE, some oil bumping. I hate it because, we filled up the car yesterday, $120 or $40, whatever it was, there to fill up the tank. So that was a little spicy. But that's why we make money. So we can spend it, right? Just spending too much of it, Brendan.
Yeah, crazy. What is your tank in that, Sean? Like 50 liters, 55 liters?
I think it's 70, I think.
Oh, wow. So it's 55. Bigger. Okay. Yeah. So
yeah.
I did the same on the weekend. It was 125 or 130.
Oh, man.
Crazy. I was just noticing, guys, the 10-year popping on that retail number as well. So back to day highs anyways, 295 for the 10-year. Just be aware, Bullard making some comments right now, just talking about the upcoming increases in the sense that 50 basis points seems to be the base case right now going forward for what the Fed should be doing. So a few macro things to deal with as we head into the morning. Let's bring in Miss V to start. Good morning.
Good morning and happy trading, team. I wish you a wonderful, profitable day. Please make sure you like this video and let's get it started, Brendan.
Yeah, lots to get through here this morning, guys. Just keeping my eye on these comments in case we get another downtick. Looks like we're actually trying to bounce a little bit here for the overall market. But coming off that retail number, we got to talk about the retailers here. As we said, Home Depot good, Walmart to the downside this morning.
I remember Home Depot, like when it broke that 300 originally, and it's like the number of people that were like, yeah, this is, oh man, Home Depot, that's a great value down there. And you sort of thought that we were going to fall down even further. Well, the only good thing about the Walmart news, and maybe that retail number, is it's keeping Home Depot below its 50 period right now. But overall, like there is still the R word to come out there, and you have to wonder about like what happens if you see some slowdown in the housing market and the forward. But you can't complain about anything with regards to this number for Home Depot. I mean, I look at that 300 level, which just got reestablished. Where like that was that big line from last year. Like 300 was resistance in 2020. It was just the dip. Now you're back above that magical number for Home Depot, and I think it's just going to be support from there. One thing to add, just because you mentioned Bullard speaking for Fed, and we have to watch out for them. It's like a whole lineup of them today. It's Bullard, and then Bullard, then Harker at 9:15, Kashkari at 12:30, Powell at 2, Mester at 2:30, and Evans at 6:45 for some reason. And shout out to Spencer on our trading floor for putting that one into the chat, the actual rundown. So you will see throughout the day, not random comments, but comments coming from some of the Fed members that we'll have to keep our ear to the ground to. But yeah, it's a tale of two stories there. Because Walmart, I mean, what scares you the most about the Walmart report is they didn't have the handle on exactly what was going on in the quarter for them as well. Like it was just a huge shock. Costs were too high. They had overstaffing issues because people were coming back to work faster than expected. It was a lot for them to be able to digest, whereas Home Depot just met and blew away expectations and is now trading above a great level.
Yeah, I mean, Home Depot forward PE of just 17. It's going to be good levels for them, and obviously they've been hit through all of this. But a 3.5 or 2.5% dividend for Home Depot is nice as well. So you're also getting some aspects there of returning some cash to investors. So I mean, I won't be trading it today, but it's a great number. You do obviously worry a little bit about the housing market, but other than that, I mean, people need to. Even especially now, I mean, my wife was at the Home Depot Garden Center and it was completely sold out. There was nothing even left there, and obviously it's a major, huge Home Depot. And we're not even through Victoria Day weekend, which is this weekend, May 2-4, which is typically the planting season and things like that. So I think Home Depot goes forward. I think it's a nice move here today, up 3.5%. It was kind of, I don't want to say it was an easier one, but out of the two, Walmart versus Home Depot, I think Home Depot was kind of a no-brainer there. I have never been into Home Depot as a stock, so should probably think about getting into it right now. Like Neil said, you're just at the 50 period right now, so that probably takes that out today. To me, you really got to wait at probably till about 320. I mean, get it now because it's going to 320, but if you're going to be really conservative, then you can wait till it breaks that 320. If you think there's more downside in the market coming through here, wait and get in once we take care of all this garbage down here over the last 2 months or so. So that would be north of 320. And even if you get the stock at 320, I think you're still doing pretty good. There's a lot of runway for this company. And yeah, Home Depot to me is a big winner. And then, I was sat here and I even asked you guys, why was Walmart up? This was a couple weeks ago, and everyone was talking about why it was up, and it made sense, right? The cost of goods going way higher. People need to shop somewhere, so they're going to spend their money at a lesser, at more of a value brand, I guess, and an area where you don't have to worry too much about customer service. You're just paying the lowest price. And it went all the way to the upside right there, right? But for me, I don't know. I sold it just when we got north of this 152, these peaks. So I missed it all the way to 160, but now that it's back down to 139, 140, maybe you can get a reload down here at 132. So just like Home Depot, I think you got to wait until this stock takes down this 132 area. There's going to be a lot of upset investors coming in today, down 6%. That's horrible for Walmart. So hopefully you weren't caught in all that hype. But hey, I think there's better names out there, but I don't think there's anything wrong with Walmart. It's going to take a minute for them to recover. They've been flying high, man. There's not too many stocks that before their earnings report was around their 50-period moving average. Let alone above their, I mean, I guess if you're around your 50, you're probably above your 200. But I mean, you know, now today they're finally getting slapped down, and it's going to be a rough ride for Walmart shareholders. I mean, if you're still in it, I don't know, I guess stay in it, but I still think that you get down to 132, which isn't that far away, man. You're taking like another 5% down from here. I don't know if we get that today, but we probably get it tomorrow, if not by Friday. Then this is a good area to probably get your money back in. But I would still prefer Home Depot.
Yeah, more big names in the group, as we said, to come this week as well. So still, retail news to deal with. Was just looking at Rivian here. A few days in a row, we're kind of chopping around in this top end of the range after that post-earnings rally around this 26 area for Rivian, guys. Morgan Stanley this morning reiterating its overweight on Rivian. So there's a little bit of positivity as far as a catalyst today. Then I wanted to mention this as well. Coinbase, back to the upside a little bit this morning. On that note, they came out after market yesterday and said they're planning to slow hiring because of the current conditions. Bitcoin as well, with a bit of a slow grind back towards that 31,000. I mean, we're back above 30 and a half this morning, but showing some signs of life once again.
Coin today is like the definition of diddle in the middle. Like, I like 60, I like 70, and then Coinbase is sitting right in the middle. Look, great that they're going to be cutting costs and trying to slow things down there a little bit and be a little bit more conscious. I think that's always, you're going to hear a lot of that, I think, out of this quarter, to be certain for a lot of companies, and certainly them doing that. I don't think it's a huge surprise. The good news for Rivian is, you know what? No one's talking about them not being a going concern, which that was a note I read on Lordstown. And that's the difference. We said this before, but like one of the major differences between sort of looking at Rivian and some of the other smaller or emerging EV names is whether or not they get over the hurdles when it comes to production and eventually getting cars on the road. We know demand is going to be there overall in the space. It just comes down to execution and how long your runway is. Well, of all these names, Rivian's going to have the longest runway. Well, at least one of the longest runways, because they are well-funded and because of who is backing them. Now, we know Ford has already sold twice. Could they sell again? I tend to think it's logical to assume that they're not done, just based on the fact they sell a chunk one week, sell a chunk the next week, and let's see if they don't do that again. 26 has been a pretty significant price area on Rivian, more or less the last couple of weeks. There was one solid breakaway from that price, and that happened on Friday. And then yesterday we actually came in and then broke down at that 26 price. Now we're sitting there with resistance. For me, when I see a level like that, we've seen it before. It's been good shorts off of this level. It's been a good break off of this level. So until we hold above, like that day on Friday, gave you some opportunities for longs. I'm going to be sitting there ready to short in front of 26 on Rivian. If it breaks that level, you've got room to 28. So there is room to run here, but to me, that's still going to be a short till it's not off a level like this, which has given you so many gifts.
Talk about, I just got into JD. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so yesterday we were short Rivian in the afternoon off some kind of news, which I can't remember. So we were short into there. There was that Amazon part problem or something that was going to delay some of their trucks. That didn't work. So yeah, I'm just going to look long for Rivian today. So, 24.40, something like that. Some of the bottoms that were made yesterday would be great. I guess Brendan was talking, I mean, I didn't even know there was a positive note about them today. It's not really moving, but up 2% is nice, kind of a little bit more than the market is right now. So, I mean, when I look at this, obviously this is just yesterday and then a little bit of pre-market action, then you can go back over. A lot of barcoding here between, this 26, 27 area. And then, of course, we were short the day before yesterday. I guess that was Friday. Some nice shorts into here as well in this 24, 25 area. I was just been really surprised at how well Rivian's done off earnings. Like, it didn't look like it was a great earnings day at all for them. But, they've made a nice little move off the bottom there for Rivian. You're still a ways away. That $40 is really what's important there, for the 50 period. But again, I don't think, what is Rivian's price? 25.50. So you still got to break above this 27.50, but it's looking better. It's looking more likely here. I don't mind this 26 break either on Rivian here today. So I think there's a few good plays about to happen. So we'll wait for that. I like all that. There's, the shorts right there at 29. But for me, I just paid for shorts now. I don't know exactly what I want to do with it. I'm going to keep it up on my side. Didn't really realize it was in play today, and I'm not sure that it is. What kind of volume are we doing here? Oh, 175,000. Okay, so it's not horrible. So maybe there is going to be something here for Rivian. Let's see if it gets down to 24.50. So if the market makes a move down, we'll try to respect that bottom there yesterday, 24.50. We'll see if it can come into play again. Yeah, I don't know. I was talking with Baxter on the way in, and it's just like there's so many EV names out there right now. Which ones are gonna survive? Is it gonna be Rivian? Is it gonna be Polestar? Is it gonna be Fisker? Is it gonna be Lucid? Then you have all the legacy names. Volkswagen's trying to only make those cars. The Porsche Taycan. There's so many. Ford, obviously, we keep talking about them. GM, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai. Like, it goes on and on. So I don't know. I don't know where we wind up with a lot of these names. I'm sure some of these EV names will fail. So I don't know. If you want to pick one, maybe Rivian's the one. It's been hit so far. Remember, this was a $180 stock 6 months ago, and now it's down to $20. Not that 180 meant anything, because it was just after its birthday there. But it came to market at a robbery price of $106.50, and even at this $25 level, you want to take a shot on something. Is this going to be the next Tesla? No, but it might be worth a shot down here using something like a 20 as your out. So give yourselves $5 worth of downside here, and just in case we tap down, or you have a huge runway back up to the upside. We will at some point see the 50 period. Hopefully it doesn't come too low, but you're one or two upgrades away, you're one or two positive comments away from a Ford or from an Amazon for this thing to be a monster. So I don't own any Rivian shares. But the more I think about this is probably a decent spot here at $25.
The whole group moving this morning a little bit. There was a negative note. It's worth noting on Fisker as well. Just a price target cut, I believe. Anyone watching Walmart this morning? The conference call is on right now. So a few comments coming through from some of the executives for Walmart. They're just reiterating what was said in the report, talking about inventory shortages, and that they are already thinking about the next couple of months because they're going to work through their current inventory in that time period. Let's talk about these Chinese stocks, because Beijing says it's the third day in a row that no new COVID cases were reported. So positivity in the sense that maybe some of these lockdowns will get eased, and tech stocks will get back to where they were. But I wanted to mention this as well. There was Chinese retail sales data out that showed a 11.1% decline, which was the biggest since March 2020. So retail sales in the U.S. kind of in line with expectations. In China, not great, but we are seeing a bump right across the board, almost as expected for these today.
Well, I think when the BOVESPA reported, they had their slowest growth. I don't want to say in forever, but it was in 10 years or something like that. And JD.com, even with their good report, it was still the slowest growth they've had in quite some time. So I think we saw a lot of that coming, and obviously with the lockdowns and everything that's going on over there with their policies, that some of that is going to be baked in and expected. But you also had analysts coming out saying that the Chinese tech names are now an opportunity after being uninvestable 2 months ago. Yeah, if you go to a daily chart, it's okay, it was a couple of months ago. Oh, right, so uninvestable on Alibaba when it got to the last high at 120, and now it's an opportunity after it bounces off of 80. Look, I would tend to agree. From a risk standpoint, I understand all the logic behind it of not wanting to get wrapped up in these names. I already took a swung and missed way too early on Alibaba myself, and I know a lot of people are looking to play that value for a lot of names like this. But at some point, you are finally getting a turnaround. I just showed you on the daily, you had a double bottom around that 80 level. You got this great consolidation, and now you're breaking out into some new territory here. It was 89 was the break. I sat down on Monday. Yesterday's Monday, sat down looking for a break of this level, and now you're gapping in front of it. So there's two ways I like the long one inside of this cluster here. If we break down, I want to be a buyer in front of that same 89 just to see if it can turn into support. I mean, the last time we were here, it basically looked at this range, 94 top, bouncing essentially off of that 89 level and then settling there. So if it does pull back today, Alibaba, then I'm going to be looking to be a buyer in front of 89. First things first, I'd like to see if we can actually hold that top and continue the move. As long as I see volatility still down, the market looking relatively strong here today. So the day trade I like today on BABA is going to be the long side. I wish we could have had the 89 break, but hey, guess what? JD reports well and gaps everything up, so you're not going to get a chance at that level unless we get a dip. So I'll be buying in front of 92s first. If that breaks 91.75 or so, then I'll just get out and then look for that 89 level on Alibaba.
Yeah, I'll be on Alibaba as well. We're already on JD right now, so we'll backflip for that. We just took 30 cents on that long. I mean, listen to these. So there we go, JD. We just bought that at front of 55.50. We just got it out at 87 or 88 there. So that was a good trade for us. I mean, JD just blows the numbers right out there. And then JP Morgan comes out and basically upgrades the whole Chinese ADR. This is an absolute no-brainer long, in my opinion. It's the #1 name here on the sticky note, JD. Look at these numbers. Net revenue, 239 versus 236. Win. EBITDA, 6.07 versus 3.65. Monster win on EBITDA, right? Adjusted earnings per share, 253 versus 147. Huge beat, right? Customer accounts, 580 million versus 583. So they get a little lower on the customer accounts. So we're going to see what happens with JD, but up that nice little 8.25%. Look, could it fall? Yes, it can. We're not going to be averaging in. We're into this trade right now at 55.60. Let's see where it goes. This bottom right here of 54 could also get tested today. We've seen these Chinese names get real exciting and real interesting off the open. So they can fall, just like NEO. I really love NEO today, but you know, it can easily retrace some of these levels. The market's up 1.75%. So, you know, JD's up 8%. Look, there's going to be FOMO. We talk about that all the time. I've sat here before and said long, long, long. The market went up 4%. I don't know if we feel like that same thing today, but there's going to be a lot of traders out there that feel like they missed the bottom and missed getting out of Walmart. I think Walmart goes lower. I think JD and some of these names that are coming out. You're going to get Citigroup. We've already talked about that. Well, we haven't yet, but we will talk about Citigroup on Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway upgrading a little bit and getting involved, right? So people are going to think they missed the boat on banks as well, and Chinese ADRs. So for me, this is a pretty easy long. We'll see. I'm in it. I only got out of 20% there. We'll see if JD can work. I mean, I'm just flat on the trade. I'm only in the money now, 20 cents. So let's see. To me, I like the rhetoric. I like everything that I'm saying. So let's just wait to see if it works. I'm still a breaker up here of 56.50. That's how much I like this. So I still think that we could take out the day's high. And I mean, and it's exactly all over the sticky note today. If we can, I'll show it to you right here. It's JD. Gets, beats across the board. I mean, those numbers that I read to you besides those accounts were absolutely monstrous. And then they get an upgrade from JP Morgan. We're going to look at 56.50, and Chinese ADRs are all ripping. So we love that Alibaba. We love everything today. And thank you again for all the love on this sticky note, man. It means a lot. You know, all the work that we put in for you definitely, goes to good use, I hope. And also our watch list, tradertv.live. Make sure you check them all out. Some of these names are also interesting over there on the big screen with upgrades and downgrades.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important day in the sense as well, guys. The market itself, if you remember, we were talking about resistance around that 42.50 to 40.50 area. We're gapping above that today, so the market's going to have to hold as well. There it is, Piper Sandler, all over AMD. I was just saying to Miss V, I don't really know much about anything else on this board today. Nerdy getting downgraded by Goldman Sachs, guys.
I'm not gonna lie. I was just looking up that nerdy stock. That's a relatively low floater. But hey, you know Shake Shack. Come on now, we know a little bit. We know Shake Shack. If you talk about beating up names that have made interesting bottoms, yeah, it's not a pretty chart. I'm not gonna pretend that this is a good-looking chart on Shake Shack, but it already got cut about as badly as you're gonna get hit. And this is a name that hasn't really broken out yet. So you catch a little bit of an upgrade. There's no volume on it, which is kind of disappointing, but this is the kind of thing where you come back and look, and if you've held the higher low and you get a nice consolidation, you look for the day that it finally breaks out of the range. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the catalyst is gonna be here today, but that's usually a setup you like for a long, or at least the chart, finding a bottom, holding a consolidation off a lower high after being beaten up like this. Just unfortunately, no one seems to want Shake Shack today. I wonder why, because there's so many other big fish to fry. On a day where the entire sector for China is going to be up and everyone's watching retail, throw in the fact that AMD upgrade, tech is getting a bit of a bounce here today. There are a few names which are going to probably get, you have energy names moving as well. There are a few names that are going to get completely ignored. And so this one will probably fly under the radar. But it's not a bad looking setup if you saw it in a different name.
Yeah, so AMD again, I don't know if you saw it there on the sticky note, but it's the number 2 name on the sticky note today, gets the Piper upgrade. So that's JP Morgan upgrade for JD, Piper Sandler here for AMD. It's been on a huge run since that 80 bottom. Watch out for 96.50. So, I mean, look, it's already all the way up there. I mean, we've been trading, look at that bid we had yesterday, $93 on AMD, right? The day before that, we had 88 bids. So let's see if it gives us the same kind of feels back in here on a little bit of a dip buy. To me, again, pretty much as easy as it could be here for the market. And we like easy trades. Hopefully they just turn out. This 96.50, I mean, if it comes back in to 96.50, I'm already sitting there. We'll take the long and then hopefully, and again, it's wild off the open. This was a monster dip down here in the afternoon. We've seen it give everything back. We are long and got out right there on that breakdown. So we were really lucky. We didn't have any of this dip down. Well, we didn't suffer in any of it because again, we had the Apple short into this move, which was great. So, but anyways, out of AMD right there, and that was 96 break. So to me, well, I mean, it was VWAP, it was a 50 period, but 96.50 there. I think this is a no-brainer long. The only problem is you might I don't know if it's a max position. It is a max position. I mean, you could put everything on this. It's just, we don't know. This market could dip down in, and again, on the way in, I was saying to my kid there that if not just about AMD, but you could come in now, and people have been buying AMD off the bottoms. I mean, it's one of the best names you could be buying right now in the market, in my opinion. So down to $83. Look at the last couple of days. It was $83 3 days ago. So when you come in today and you see $97.50, I mean, you're up 20%. On AMD, you're not up 20% on Intel, you're not up 20% on Nvidia. This name has just gone crazy. So if you've been buying this, you may want to rotate sort of out of AMD. I mean, I don't know if you rotate out of AMD and to get into any of those names, but the point is it may be profit taking at some point. So could this dip lower than 96.50? Of course. So I'm going to sit there, take the 96.50, and then I'm going to have to really figure out what the market wants to do, because maybe it's a hold to 95. I mean, if the market's not absolutely tanking, then I don't see a reason why this comes back down into 94. So, I think in 96.50, give yourselves a couple bucks worth of room here. I think you're going to like that trade, as we'll probably retest that 98 at some point. So it's kind of like $1.50 either way there. But, if the market was open and we could see sort of what the NASDAQ's feel was, then I would really, really think that this 96.50 is going to be a great gift. So, let's put some bids there and let's try to make a little bit of money today on a 96.50 long for AMD. And when we get into it, then we'll figure out where our out is, but probably 95-ish.
All right, market trying to bounce here a little bit. We'll get Arun in here in a second to get a look at the futures. Before we do that, I just noticed Walmart back on volume here to the downside, it looks like. Just keep in mind, again, if you missed it, the conference call, the earnings call, still going on. It would appear some comments coming through for Walmart. Also, I want to mention this. We talked about it right at the end of the day yesterday. New Bank, or New Holdings, which is that neobank that Warren Buffett has a whole bunch of money in. Blowout quarter, really good numbers right across the board, beat on every aspect, users, revenue, EPS, even their forecasts look good. So decent gap to the upside here if you were watching that. 10% for NU.
Yeah, not bad. Just remember, it doesn't have it doesn't have a huge float, so that alone probably makes it worth watching. We talked about the $5 level, and guess what? I mean, look, they had a blowout earnings. That's what had to happen for this level to come into play, and you're just going to see this is Friday's top. It ran away from this in a big way if you go back into last Monday. So you've got last week's highs. That's going to come into play here. I see a huge, and we'll check the imbalance locator closer to the open, but there is a rather large New York book sell order sitting at $5 already. So I expect that there's going to be some size on that offer. Look, that's on a small name. I shouldn't say a small name, but on a name with a low float like this, up to 10% with a big blowout earnings, like you said, with a big bottom like that. That's the kind of breakout trade that I'm just going to probably throw in there. And I'm glad you're reminded, because we talked about, someone asked in the afternoon show about the stock, and I was like, I looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, the only level interesting is $5. And to be perfectly honest, I kind of expected to come in and see them down like 5 or 10% and not be near that level. But here we are. So that 5 will be in play. I'll probably have a stop once the market opens to take that little bit of a breakout long, but I'm not going to be stubborn about it.
Yeah, I didn't even look at it. I mean, honestly, I'd rather just trade a SoFi or something like that. But yeah, 800,000 shares today, pretty good. Obviously, it's been beat down. Most of these companies' best days were their first days, and now we sip champagne when we thirst days, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's just this name so beat down. Could it rally? Yeah, it could, and good for that. But I don't know. I just not super excited about this, as you can tell. But you know, it's a good one. It's up 11%. It's doing volume. We'll just see. I just feel like it's a little too thin. This is a name that we'll look for. You know, once the market starts to open again. Is it? Yeah, it is a New York name, so it's not even on here. You know, on the list. So I don't know. Like an 800,000 share name should be on here. DD. I mean, we keep looking at that name. That's on there. I mean, that's going to delist at some point, despite all the stuff where they're not going to be forcing any Chinese companies to delist. I think DD's doing it anyways. Neo's there, Oxy's there. I mean, again, we're getting a little overwhelmed by all these buys. Again, right? The only sells in here: Twitter, ACHR, Fastly, and INFA, whatever that is. So you're getting a lot of bids in here for decent companies. CCL. Ford's in here as a bid. We just talked about Citigroup, and then some of these big names in Oxy and Neo. So it's not, it's not an overwhelming open. It doesn't look like. But hey, I'm excited to trade a lot of these names. Just NU isn't one of them.
Let's have a look at the overall market here. We'll bring in Arun, brought to you by the Small Exchange. They're making it so much easier to get involved with futures trading. Small, simple contracts, no PDT rule, less capital required. Sign up today, guys. At thesmallexchange.com, you can use the QR code at the bottom of the screen. Big gap this morning on the overall market here, Arun. We're kind of gapping through, in fact, that area that we've been dealing with as resistance over the past couple of days. How do you treat this morning?
Yeah, well, that was the front end level. That was like the 35 to 50-ish level. That was the problem for us for the last few days, I guess 2 days. And now we're kind of gotten past that point, but we've still got some resistance up here. And this is the big one. This is the big area that I want to work with here, is pretty much from where we are now, 65 and change, all the way up to 41.15. So up here, if we can find a reason to go short, I'd like to take a shot at the short side. I'll respect the fact that the market's got strength down to 35, so you do have to control your risk on this trade. But there's a decent chance that we do get a turnaround here. Market is strong, so the turn's not ready yet. We saw some, a little bit of a move here with the retail sales number, but retail sales. And now we're moving back to the upside here, back to the 65s and change. So we clearly have some strength, and you have to respect the strength, but we are in an area that I'd like to fade if we could find the right setup to do it with, right? Until then, I'm just going to respect the strength and respect the move. It wants to go up. It's up 1.88 on the NASDAQ. So we've got strength. We're going to let it go. Right now, as it's trading 65, I want to see maybe we can get into the 40.80s again and then start to fade out. If that's the case, then the shorts are on the table. See if we can't bring it back down into the 40s, into the 30s. But the thing is, though, once you get into the 40s and 30s, you do have to respect the strength that we kind of were having a problem with for the last couple of days, which is the previous resistance. Now is going to act as somewhat of a support level or support zone that you do have to respect it. Although I want to go short, you have to be on an understanding of the fact that there is some support or previous resistance that's going to be a problem if we were to go down. So it is somewhat range bound and tight given where we are right now. So we do have an upper band of 41.15. The lower support zone will start around that 40 mark, so 40.40 or so, going all the way down. If we were to catch a bid and get a decent support and a setup, then I'd say 40.10 would have to be your stop. So you can play both ways at the moment right now. If we go high enough, there's a short available. If we go low enough, there's a long available, but it all depends on how we set up and whether we set it up in a good fashion. If we get aggressive and start going right through these levels, then it could become a problem. But for now, I'd say just keep both sides open, see if you can get a trade. Whichever direction the market wants to go, see if the market's going to stall in that direction. At that point, you can go against it.
Good stuff. Thanks, Arun. Yeah, testing higher, at least, which is a good sign for the overall market. Let's get into Everything else you need to know in the pre-market here, guys. Under, 25 minutes to go here before we get the market open. As I said, back to 1.6 now for the S&P, so a pretty good look. That was the link to the watch list. Miss V will help you out in the chat if you do need that link. Walmart, as we said, the big one to the downside this morning, and it's all the forecast. They were talking about supply chain. They were talking about, the possibility of higher inflation, recession even. Was mentioned in the U.S. So not good here for WMT today.
Oh, I meant to I'm kicking myself because I keep forgetting to look at Target today. They report this week, and I like them, and maybe there's a chance that they're getting a little bit of a dip on this. But first of all, we've talked about probably 3 or 4 times how bad the report is, and certainly that outlook, not a good one. You throw in the R word, which typically you might think might be good for Walmart, but they've got some hurdles to get over and some things to clean up in-house. So we talked about that with the staffing issues and supply chain issues as well. Right now, it seems like, I know the call, it's always complicated when the call is on because you can move around here in light volume, but it's done 2 mil. So there is significant volume down here at Walmart. 140 has been a bit of a wall. Ignore these dark pool wicks, at least so far in the pre-market. And I think if it gets above that price, there's a gap to be filled here. Some people are going to see some value. I think it's not, like last night we were talking about the mid-30s. That 135-ish area that has support just a couple of bucks below that on the daily chart, and thinking that's the next place that it would settle. I'm inclined to believe we're going to head there, and I don't think, look, you can't get down there without it falling from where it is here today. So, if we hold below that 140 at the open, once this call is over with, I think that's what I'd be looking for a specific trade on Walmart. I'm much more likely to try to buy a dip in Home Depot, I think, than to be terribly active in Walmart in particular. Just given the fact the market's strong, I'd rather be playing a stronger name. But Walmart 140 at the open, we're below that price. It's worth a shot for a short, sort of similar to the vein of Rivian. Once it's through that level, I'm not getting stubborn about it. You set your stop, get short in front of it, and then walk away.
Yeah, I mean, we keep talking about, their forward look and stuff like that as well. I mean, that's sort of but I mean, their earnings per share was horrendous. This was supposed to have been a decent quarter for Walmart. They got 130 versus 148. That's a big miss for them. I don't know historically where that lines up as far as a miss for them, but hey, it's the most mentioned ticker right now on Wall Street bets. So that's never happened to Walmart before. So we're going to wait to see what happens with Walmart. Obviously, there was a lot of people interested in it. So, hey, I mean, that 140 is sticking out like a sore thumb. So we'll have to wait to see if it takes down that 140. I mean, look, we're already we're at 140 right now. I mean, you were at 150 yesterday. Today you're at 140. It's just a slight haircut. I don't think it's the end of the world here for Walmart. But at the same time, there's going to be disappointment. And that's just why I think it goes lower and eventually breaks this 137 to the downside. I mean, I just feel like there's people that took their bets on Walmart and now are losing. So let's see. Do people abandon ship on this number? I don't know. We're not part of the call right now, but it doesn't seem like it's very good news. I'd rather be trading other names. We're 31 cents in the money right now on JD as it's trying to take out 56. The NASDAQ's starting to rally as well here. So, hey, for me, Walmart is an avoid today, but this 137 breakdown might be something. So we'll see if it gets down there. I'm definitely not sitting in front with any bids, but the long down there, something around, I just want to see what happens near that bottom of 137 that we sort of bounced off all morning. If we can test that, then, I think we break lower. We probably head to 135, and then eventually we get to this 132 area. And I mean, does that happen today? It could. It could flush off the open. So if it does, I mean, this is definitely a buy, 134, 135. So, buy in there. I think you have a chance that it goes down to those levels, especially if people sell some of these retail names to buy tech. Remember, I talked about FOMO. And then, although I know I talked about Intel, it's not doing anything. But look at NVIDIA today. NVIDIA rallying again. It's almost just nothing but straight up bars here in the morning. So, look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Right up to 180 again on NVIDIA. So there might be profit taking also on this name. This was at 172 yesterday at close, up to 180 today. So, there's going to be some nice movements here. I think it's pretty obvious what stocks are going to, have a chance to run today if the market goes, and then what stocks are going to be doing on the downside. So if the market fails, I think it's Walmart that's going to lead the S&P lower. I don't know if that's going to happen though, but if it does, watch out for that 137, then buy them back at 135. And then I'm all over, like I said, AMD and NVIDIA as much as we possibly can in a rallying market.
All right, let's go on to those Chinese ADRs as a group. Very strong here this morning. I mean, I was just looking at Alibaba here, even 7.3% right now, holding at the top end of the range. A ton of positive catalysts. If you joined us early, we mentioned a few of them, including JP Morgan talking very positively on the whole group coming out of this, it would appear anyways, coming out of this COVID mess. 3 days in a row, Shanghai reported no COVID cases. So they're hoping that lockdowns will begin to ease and get things back to something that resembles normalcy. We also have JD, who reported better than expected results, guys. So very positive here for all of these.
Yeah, across the board. Well, they've been pretty positive, I think, throughout the week. It's just you're getting a bigger, stronger gap up now for sure. And I like Bob. I'm sort of sitting on the bid here in front of 92. Take a shot in front of that one on any kind of a pullback, even if it breaks down. And then I want to try that 89 level, which is so big. But the other one is NEO here. And not to get lost in the shuffle, but NEO put in that great, look, it's not great that it puts a wick bottom in if you ended up selling on that wick bottom, but if you go back to that March low at $13, it put a wick bottom last week at that price. It's been 4 straight days. Well, this will be the 4th straight day to the upside. The last couple of days, we've been able to do dip buys and breaks on NEO successfully, and I'm looking to sort of rinse and repeat the same strategy. Now, you've got 1450 to 1450, 1440 to 1450 as the support area here back into last week. We want to buy in front of that. I even like these 15s. This sort of, it's not really a head and shoulders, but it's kind of like that. And I like that 15 area as well. So a couple of dip buy options. I'm not taking the breakout on NEO because that's right into the $16 level. So I want to be buying NEO on dips, same way we're looking for Alibaba.
Yeah. Yeah, Justin just put in the chat 300,000 subscribers by end of May.
End of May.
End of May. Like 300,000 subscribers by the end of today. If today was the end of May, then I'd agree with that. Guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as much as you possibly can. Look, we've talked about a few names today. NEO, and thank you for the sticky note again, guys. 25 retweets already on this. So thank you so much for that. If you guys can head over to it. Thanks, Bulls vs. Bears Media there, retweeting this as well and putting this out for you in the chat. Same as Miss V. But there it is, NEO, 1550, baby. So we're going to try to buy dips. We've said that over and over again into 15. Unfortunately, I'm bidding 1505. The lowest it got today was 1515. So we're going to look for NIO to start breaking higher. I'm going to take a 1550 break, but it's never really worked. Breakouts for me anyways off the first couple minutes. We've talked about that. Would much rather get long down here at 15. So let's wait to see. Hopefully it can come back in, take this down. But the reason why I'm willing to take this 1550, so yesterday was the high, 1544. So we'll take a 1550 break just so we don't miss the trade. It's not going to be a huge amount of shares, but we'll take it if it hits that. And if we get any kind of a bleed down here to 15 flat, I mean, this is, again, this reminds me of that AMD trade, man. We have this top here of 1495. Let's just call it 15 even. If we're able to get some shares here, it's like, what would be the catalyst for this thing to come all the way back to 1450? I don't see it. Obviously, we'll have to adjust everything as the market goes. But hey, I like NEO here today. There's only 17 minutes now until the market opens up. Let's see. It was on here. There it is, still a buy. So again, it's the biggest buy on here. Forget about DD or NLY. Like, this is the only name that people are going to look at. Also Citigroup, Oxy. So, you group these three in there, and I think we're looking at the right names. All of these names, we don't have Oxy on our watch list, but, oil's working, so that's great. Our XLE is working today, so that's another good one. But there's NEO, man. I like the bid. I think it rallies, but just, this is the other problem. That bid is also a double-edged sword because it's holding it higher and it may get us in at that 1550, and then all of a sudden the pressure is gone on the buy side and then we dip back in. So look, the NASDAQ's up 2%. It's great. Was it up higher? Yes, it was. So even right now, despite we broke the trend right there at 12.45, right? So 12.450, that was a trend break because we had, higher, there we go, higher there. And then lower high, lower high, lower high, and then just broke up. So even though the NASDAQ's up 2%, it was starting to come back down. We broke trend a little bit. So I still feel like this right here, 12,460, that's going to be a level that we're going to be worried about. So if we lose that, then, you know, this break of 1550 is not going to work. So let's just try to stay as patient as we can. Our JD has now come back down a little bit here. So, you know, there are some names that are coming off. Maybe 8% is too high. We're willing to dance with this one. This is not a heavy position because it's in the pre-market, but this Chinese name is the one I prefer right now because of the upgrade and the report. But we may dip back into 53 bucks. So let's put some bids somewhere in the middle here. If we can get a 54 long and then see what happens at 53, I think that's the play here for JD. So I'm on JD, I'm on NEO, and we're ready to rock and roll.
All right, we got the Walmart call. Looks like it's wrapping up, guys. But the Home Depot earnings call just started. So that starts at 9 a.m. Walmart looks to be just wrapping up. So heads up if you're looking at either of those. This just out as well on Twitter. Hindenburg saying they're very close to shorting Twitter, whatever that means. So take that for what it's worth from Hindenburg. Let's go on to UAL. Some of the travel names have been pretty strong over the past couple of days and over the past couple of weeks as well, with some of the casinos and hotels rallying back to life. UAL, the latest airline to come out after market yesterday, increasing not only this year's full year forecast, but next year's full year forecast as well. So a nice bump after market and this morning as well for United.
Yeah, look, I think it'll raise all the ships. Well, not ships. Planes. I don't know. That's a good enough analogy. But realistically, there's not a lot of volume here. I think if you get 43s again on UAL specifically, that's a bit of a gift, just given what the chart looks like. You get the 50 period hanging out there as well. You can see it was previous support. You got your nice little V-shaped bottom there. And you're still inside of the channel. This needs to break $46. And I'm not looking at breakouts on no volume. So this is a dip buy into 43. I doubt that we see that in here today, unless there's abject. What the market would have to do for us to get 43s today on UAL kind of tells me that there's going to be so many other names that I'm going to like a heck of a lot better to be buying on dips in here. So I'm probably going to end up having to pass on UAL. If you like the breakout, you can kind of see the upward channel here at 46. It's not over my radar, but the setup isn't terrible. I just think the support level looks much better for this name in particular. And just Hindenburg closed their short position on Twitter. Because that must have worked out well for them, but I tend to think Elon hasn't changed the price yet on Twitter. But he still could do that, and it's close enough to these 30s where it could start to find a bit of a base. And if shorters are already covering, thinking they've got their move from like 50 down to 30, almost $35 here, this catches a bid in and around 35 or goes barcode, you might see me trading a little bit of Twitter off of this 35 level to the long side if you can catch a little bit of a bid there. I'm going to have my eye in it today after ignoring it for the last couple of weeks.
Okay, so I was just looking at, because we're talking about sort of travel there. Like, I'm sure I could ask Neil or Brendan or even ask myself, because I was very surprised to see where CCL was. I mean, CCL's down here to 14 bucks. Like,
I was going to guess.
I remember this. Okay, I should have asked you. I don't think you would have guessed this low, to be honest with you, because I wouldn't have. But I just remember this name at 20, and it was only 2 weeks ago where we were at 20 bucks for CCL, maybe 3 weeks ago. So this name just continues to get beat down. You know what, like, the debt that some of these cruise lines carry, I mean, I know it's ridiculous, and it's a little bit of a different beast to some extent than some of these airlines that are saying they're going to return to profitability, so on and so forth. I still feel like cruises are going to work, and I don't mind this break of 14.75 right there. You're going to get a good move up there for Delta, right, there today. So I don't know. We'll see. Like, Delta's up that 1.5% or so. This name could go as well. I mean, CCL up 3%, looking to take down this level. That bottom right there was 15, and we have a couple tops of 14.75. So for me, maybe CCL does have that chance to go. This is what it looks like on a minute chart. We were already up here yesterday before fading in off the end. So we're just at some of these levels. I like 14.50, 14.60 coming on CCL. So hey, as we continue to move forward, this might be the most exciting name. We know what Wall Street bets can do to these lower price names. Maybe CCL gets some call action, very similar to AMC, man. I mean, they're both, in the low teens, AMC even lower. So, this is a name that could get going. Look, even though we're talking about it just now, 700,000 shares, and it's starting to ramp up a little bit here. So, the volume's coming in. Let's see what happens with CCL. It's barcoding. But if you're going to look at a daily chart, a 20-minute chart, anything, it's right right into here. It's just breaking this, 15 bucks. So if you could take down 15 on CCL today, it's a trade that I like. And I just don't want to forget about looking at it, man. Like, I don't look at CCL enough. So Daryl or anybody else there that's in the chat, shout out if CCL gets anywhere near 15. That's probably going to be a decent little break. I could set up an order. It's just I don't want it to rip up there, and then I get long 15, and then it comes back down, and I don't really want to trade this with small shares. I mean, I really think that we can get this going and hit this with a decent amount. So we'll keep CCL. I'm actually going to like write it down on one of my little mini sticky note here. So these are like ideas that aren't on the main. So you get like the big guy and then the small guy. So we have two parts now to the sticky note A and sticky note B. So I'm adding on CCL right now for $15 break on sticky note B, Brendan.
Junior sticky note. A couple of things real quick. Rivian, guys, another note on Rivian. CEO apparently increasing his stake in the company by $1 million worth. That was as of the end of April, so that filing out aftermarket yesterday as well. He now owns 11.99 million Class A and about 7.8 Class B, so heads up on that. And yes, obviously there was an ED on this, or a D, I guess I should say. Closed their Twitter short, Hindenburg has. So yeah, that worked out pretty well. Let's go to AMD. We talked about the upgrade from Piper this morning. The entire group, though, as we said, pretty strong after a couple of kind of choppy days here for the semiconductors, but lots of opportunity nevertheless.
Definitely lots of opportunity. I know Sean already talked about AMD. It's NVIDIA that I'm looking at. You know, sometimes our trades show up on this and sometimes they don't. It's a bit of a hit and miss thing, but you sort of know that NVIDIA has been sitting here trying to get above this 180 mark, and it's more like 180 to 182, and you can see since last week. That's where we are now. Ignore that wick. It never got through that price in this pre-market. We are testing it right here at the open with about 9 minutes to go. Your support, look, it's all the way down at 172, and I don't think I'm waiting around if we dip in NVIDIA till 172. Sure, do I want to be long there if the worst case scenario happens? That's why I said I probably won't get UAL. In a market disaster, or like a really big pullback, I'm pretty sure I'll be looking at NVIDIA in front of 170 before I look at UAL. So I'm going to step up and look at the afternoon top. Yesterday afternoon top, that would be, of course, that 177 area. So 75 to 77. That's my dip buy area for NVIDIA. Sure, it could make a bit of a breakout here today. I feel like the dip buys have been a little bit better, especially at the open. There's been so much whipsaw action. So if we get down into that 70, 75 to 78 area, then I want to make sure I get that dip in on NVIDIA. Once it clears 182, we've been saying this for a while, there's just so much room to the upside. It's like that FOMO you talk about. When you have a big gap, plus the market making a recent temp bottom, that's where you can get these sort of outsized bear market sort of rallies, right? And NVIDIA's been setting up for this a while. It's done step one, which is off that 160. That 10% has come and gone. Now we'll see if we can get the next 10, but it's still got a level to break.
Yeah, shout out to Jason there, and shout out to a couple of you guys on the chat. I will talk about Apple in a minute. I mean, I've been trading it like a maniac the last little time. So we called it Sticky Note Junior. So senior here has AMD on it. It's the number 2 name there, 9650. Why do we like 9650? Well, because of right here. This has been the top yesterday, 9650. Obviously, we had that bottom there as well. Nice move up to 98, and then right here, 9650. This is the level that I like for AMD. We talk about some of these names. AMD is up nearly 20% from its bottom. Okay, so you got to understand that it's rifling up here. Its bottom was 80. It's now 97, so it's more than 20%, right? Look at an NVIDIA from its bottom, right? It's not going to be up that 20%, from 160 to 180 only. So you're talking about 10% there. You're talking about names like Intel that are, I think Intel's maybe even at its bottom. No, Intel's bottom was, yeah, 42. So Intel's up like 3 or 4%. Like AMD is up like 7%, 7 times more than Intel in the last 2 weeks. There could be some selling happening in AMD. That's all that I'm getting at. You're also running up to $100. We've already been to 98 before as well. So I just, although I think AMD's the best, I'm long AMD for sure. I like the name, but there could be a dip buy involved here in AMD. And if there is, man, we're sitting there with open arms. We want these shares at 96.50. So that's going to be a big trade for me. I'm sitting there waiting. And then honestly, I don't know. We never want to get lose more than 25% of sort of our target goal on the day. So I'm looking at a 95 to drop it off, man. Like if we break that 96.50, the only way I see that happening is if the market screams to the downside, and then in that case, we are going to be a little nervous about some of these levels down here. So let's address it when it gets to it, but I like a 96.50 for a starter position. Then we won't panic. We'll just sit there, and we'll see what happens with AMD 96.50. If I'm going to take a shot on something, it's going to be that one today.
One more to go here. Citigroup, bottom of the board there. Berkshire adding a measly $3 billion stake to its position in Berkshire after dumping WFC. So, I mean, we've kind of been sitting here waiting for the banks to come to life. Maybe this is the catalyst that gets these going again. $50, pretty obvious, right above us here for C.
Yeah, it's not a gigantic stake, but maybe it is the catalyst that gets it going. It's a bit of a big gap up to be in love with the trade specifically for Citigroup. So I'll probably be sitting this one out. But if you do reject the 50 level, there is room for this gap to get filled into the downside. And I think when you have a tight cluster like this, I need to be pretty confident to want to go into the long on a gap up. There's two levels I like in a very similar setup on Alibaba, but for Citigroup, count me out for sitting it out. But I think it is. We sort of talked about dollar cost averaging. I've started with some banks that I like a little bit better in particular, but I think it is time to start thinking about where you can be able to get into some of the U.S. names. And Mr. Buffett thinks so, fine, but he always gets the benefit of the Buffett bump, right? Like it's nice to be able to announce that you have something and then it just automatically gives you 3 to 10% to the upside. Not all of us have that privilege, but I suppose he's earned it over the years.
Yeah, it's a good bump up. I feel the same way that, there's going to be FOMO in these bank names. I mean, everyone's going to think they missed the bottom because they probably did. But it doesn't mean you rush in to buy it today. Obviously, $50 is coming, fast. It's already been here, man. We've already hit through $50 today. So I said a better buy is something in a dip range. I'm actually bidding right now $48.50. So if it does come in, I have a bid sitting there for $48.50. So that's going to be a level that I'm going to look at if and when that comes through for Citigroup. So now that the imbalances are out on the NASDAQ, let's have another quick look here to see if there was any NASDAQ names on here worth buying. No. Look at all these Bs again. The last time we were loaded up with Bs, you know what happened? We went up 4%. I tweeted earlier that day that we wanted the long, that it was great. I don't get the same feels today, but hey, all these Bs, man, that's all buy side, and I don't see any sells here like ACHR. Don't even know what that is. And then we know that Twitter's a sell. I mean, there's always something going on there. But these are all buys today. XPEV, CCL, we talked about Bank of America, even Uber's catching a bid. Ford is catching a bid. Oxy, you got oil, you got banks, you got tech, you got EV, NEO here. Chinese names catching bids. SNDL catching a bid. So, I mean, look, today, maybe it's risk back on, baby, and that's what we like. So we'll wait to see what's happening right now. We're long JD only right now. That's a light position. We'll see if we can get more. With only 2.5 minutes to go, we're ready, man. We're ready to lock and load this market. I'm excited for it. 2 minutes to go. Let's go, Brendo.
All right. Relatively quiet morning once again for small cap stocks. A couple of dollar-ish type stocks on the list this morning, and then this one we talked about briefly there. NU. This is 550 and then 6. Kind of the last pivot here on the way down, and then that support that it bounced off on the daily chart. So a lot of room to the upside for this if we do get above 480, 490, which was pre-market highs. Watch 550 and then 6. Support at 75 right now, 475 for NU, guys.
Yeah, a couple of names that we shouldn't forget about. Remember, SoFi just couldn't make that break after the big move upside yesterday, over the weekend and also on Friday. Well, I still like that support, so we're going to jump in front of it. The 685 from yesterday and then the 650, the two levels I want to play in front of on SoFi. Another one, and shout out to Dominic. We see you. I know, Mullen, making some power moves today off of that. It made a power move yesterday off of $1. I'll grant you 140, 150. Those are the two resistance levels I'll be looking at for Mullen today. So it has to actually move. This is a 15-minute chart, so it's got to make a pretty decent-sized move to get there. If it wants to find support at $110, I'd rather be doing that than chasing any kind of a breakout on Mullen. Volume's okay. It's good, not great on the volume side.
So here's what everyone's been waiting for. We are reversing course on Apple. So we've only been shorting the last 20 days or something, it feels like. All these shorts, these are all shorts, man. Even the day before, look at all these shorts. These are all, they're all very profitable. And Apple's my number one stock this month, probably for sure. Excuse me. Let's go. But anyways, these are all shorts. Everything's a short here on Apple. I can scroll back as far as you want. I got to take a sip of water. But right now we're breaking back above 150. So for me, that's a level that I like here, 150 on Apple. We've sort of taken out some of this garbage down here. If you missed the bottom, I'm sorry, but we only have 20 seconds to go. Here comes Apple back upside. Not too late to buy that name, as I'm gonna take a sip of water.
Wow, it's already 20 seconds to the bell. It's Tuesday, market is up. Miss V is on the bell. There's a lot to be looking at, especially Walmart and Home Depot. Dueling earnings, I suppose, but let's drop the bell. Black is the new green, I guess it feels like, because green didn't work. Hopefully this holds up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Miss V.
Yeah. All right, we're back. We're ready to rock and roll. The market is now open. Welcome to a turnaround Tuesday, I guess. I mean, the market's up here. I think we can officially call it that. It was down yesterday, and we're up today. So let's see what happens here. Apple's starting to rip. There goes the NASDAQ. We're long JD. That's it. We got to get long AMD. We got to look for some of these dips, but nothing's dipping.
Nothing's dipping. So I got the curl trade. If Rivian takes out the high, we're just out of it at 26. There goes NVIDIA. So it's pretty much already gone. So bye-bye. Looks like we're not going to be able to get that one on the dip buy, which is what we're looking for. Same thing with NIO. It's at the high end of the range, but Alibaba at least has a chance to come into play here. It's starting to pull back. So this is one that we liked for that dip buy. Going to start stepping into it in front of about 91.75. I don't like 92 as that round number. We want to be at least a little bit patient here. And I'll be watching Mullen, of course, guys. I told you guys I would.
All right, 98, yeah, so this is trying to come back in here. I'm trying to get long on AMD, but like I said, we're 30 cents of the money on JD, so that's a good one right now. And there it goes, man, 98. Yeah, I guess we could just try some 98s here maybe on AMD to get long, but I'd rather this dip down a little bit. We are now 40 cents of the money on JD as that's trying to go. There it goes, 56, 56.10. 50 cents now in the money on JD as it's starting to go higher and higher and higher despite the NASDAQ pulling back. So let's take this opportunity to get out a little bit. There's NIO. We got it through the break of 1550. Dangerous break. This is a dangerous one, man. We don't like to take breaks this early, but we're into NIO long and we're into JD long. So yeah, let's go Chinese ADRs, baby. 2 for 2 here on these names as the NASDAQ's pulling down and these names going up.
Yeah, NASDAQ pulling down. We forgot about Coinbase, but Coinbase tried to just make a break off the high of the day there yesterday. Sorry. Yesterday afternoon's high, I should say, at 67. I see a wick top. Rivian just went through 26 but came back, so for now it could be a fail break. I'm not jumping back into the short until it holds below, but Coinbase showing some signs of weakness at this 67 price. Going to be a late entry to the list. I think a bigger level certainly can be said is 70 even, but if I see a wick top, I'm always going to take that short. I'm into Coinbase now off of that little bit of a reversal. Rivian now off and running, and BABA headed towards that 93.
Uh-oh, we're doing it again already. 70 cents in the money now on JD as that's trying to go higher. So that'll be a good trade, man. We don't have any outs now. We're going to wait to see if it gets higher than this, man. 56.50 is what we really did like. And then look what's happening. Uh-oh, it's again right there. Let's spit that money out. NIO up to 15.70 right now as that is screaming. So we got 50 cents on one Chinese name and then 20 on the other. So hopefully this will continue to work. I'm not in anything else, man. I wish I could have got into that Apple. I wish we could have got in to that AMD, but right now they're just kind of dancing. Oh, we have a bad wick on Apple right there. Walmart's tanking?
Yeah,
no surprise there, guys.
I'm just sitting on the offer on Walmart. I'm not obviously not getting. I'm checking back in on Home Depot. Home Depot is actually starting to dip. It just rejected the high of the day. If it comes down into that 302, 303, this is definitely one that we like for a bit of a dip buy. Maybe Walmart can drag it down. Now NVIDIA just went through the top.
Look at the market.
The market's going. Look at NVIDIA go.
Buddy.
NVIDIA through 180. That 182 was the monster level to the upside. Looks like it's trying to take that now. That puts the 180 band for a dip. So forget about dip 177. Now you're looking 180 to 182. Look for the higher time frame here, guys. This is now the band that we're looking for from here up to that 182 level as NVIDIA is off to the races. Should check back in on Microsoft as well.
Guys, we talked about Turnaround Tuesday. How about Destruction Tuesday as we are continuing to destroy this place? JD up 75 cents. NIO up 40 cents, continuing to run. Look at that trade on NIO. And new position alert, this one's going to be slippery as we're into Facebook right now, breaking through 204, man. This one is going just to be one of those names that we're going to have to watch out for. We know Facebook can run, but it can also tank. So let's get ready for that name. It wasn't overly strong yesterday. yesterday. It had a big dip down into 199. So we are a little nervous about this, especially on a NASDAQ pullback, which is happening right now. So you got to watch out for this trade. NEO, JD, both rocket ships to the north side. Let's hope for the same thing from Facebook. It just took out yesterday's level right there, 204. But we only got as high as 205 yesterday. Sorry, 204.50. So yeah, okay, let's go. We're sitting here right now on Facebook in the 20s for 204.20 to see if we can get some. And then we are respecting this 204.80 high yesterday. So we're into Facebook right now, but we got to do a little bit of work because I don't want to be in this, especially if the market tanks. It looks like a 202.50, pretty much going to be the worst situation right there, the pre-market bottom.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, these dips just don't seem like they want to come in. Now breaking the high. The top of the channel on Alibaba just went at 94. That's how strong things are looking. So I just got into that. I prefer the dip, obviously, but if the break of this range is going to happen, there's still so much room into the upside after we're gapping up. I did get into some SoFi here. So once again, we're playing it tried to break. We're going to take these dips on SoFi. Just got Baba. Brendo, what's up, buddy?
Home Depot, guys, just popped up to day highs there, back above that 310 area. Keep in mind the call is still on, but huge reversal as well for HD.
That's why, yeah, the call's still on for Home Depot. That's why it's whipsaw action all over the place on that name. We can certainly expect that. Just noted relative weakness or somewhat on Tesla. It just tried to get through 750. This is like, I don't know how many days in a row we're going to see this, but the market tries to get to the highs. And look at Tesla just reject off the open. So it tried to take out 750 just now. You're seeing it reverse here. That is a name that I've tried to be buying dips on. With NEO looking strong, with the rest of the EVs looking pretty strong, Rivian went. Tesla, once again, it needs to get going here. I want to see this above that 755, but you can see it just testing, and failing. I talked about Microsoft just now. It was just trying to break out the high as well, and it has a bit of a rejection. So wick top on Microsoft. I'm looking to see if it can now hold the pre-market lows here. So strong yesterday. Can it be that strong here today in front of 65s? Brendo?
Berkshire's 13F filing, guys, also showing a stake in this one. Paramount just took out pre-market highs there on a decent volume spike, up 13% as well.
All right, we just got into AMD 97.55 right now. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't want to be long into I'll be long into AMD on this nice dip buy. I mean, we're already taking profits. I mean, we're just taking 30 cents right now off that, but we have a much bigger position on Facebook. Obviously, look at this AMD reload. I mean, we just bought 50s. It's at 95 right now. So there it goes, man. I don't know if you got your NVIDIA reload or dip buy there, but there goes AMD instantly in 1 minute in the money, 70 cents. This is know your stock, man. We knew AMD was going to be strong. We waited for the dip buy. Congratulations, we got it. But I have bigger fish to fry right now. Look at NEO, 18 cents in the money. I don't know, man. That was pretty high. Let's get another piece out if we can on that one. JD's working for me, but really right now it's Facebook. I feel like I don't have much to worry about
Missed
with.
it by 5 cents. That's how much.
Yeah.
3 actually.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have that much to worry about. Yeah, that sucks, man. That happens all the time. That's the worst. But I don't have that much to worry about with AMD as that's rocking right now. It's the Facebook trade that we're looking at, man. 203.69er is where we're in right now. So we're in the money 30 cents, but this name just keeps on going up and down. So got to watch out for Facebook. Hopefully the market can rip this up.
Yeah, I mean, I just barely missed on NVIDIA, but I think there's still a chance it comes in here. Like, the market hasn't really taken out that top yet, at least the NASDAQ. The ES hasn't done it as well. So there's always a chance we get some more shares in that channel. Microsoft there, able to then get a bit of a dip buy in front of these lows. Let's see if that can hold. We've got BABA inside of the channel. Let's see if it can make a bit of a run here. I talked about, we talked about Tesla just a couple of seconds ago. It's now trying to retest that 750 area. Some of these wicks are a little bit ugly, and I do apologize for the dark pool wicks in here, but it is rejecting 750 multiple times now. And I've been only going long this stock. One more shot at the 750 and another failure. I'm probably going to short it in front of this level. It's just Tesla was so relatively weak. If I can scalp it, I'm going to go for it. Brendo?
Big mover so far, Globe E Online Services, which is GLBE on the NASDAQ. They reported online services company. They reported aftermarket, big miss for them, but straight to the upside ever since the open on huge volume here. Back to just 10. It was more than 20 at one point.
All right.
What's the float? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. We just took another we just got $1 on AMD right there. So just every day, man, it's like, it's ridiculous how great this market is every day off the open. Like, I've been hitting like these goals and hitting these levels like within the first 5 or 10 minutes of the day, and I hope you guys are as well. As once again, guys, and this is just, sometimes this happens. But we're 4 for 4 again on these calls. AMD, $1 in the money. Facebook, 70 cents in the money for Facebook. 40 cents in the money for JD. And another 30 cents in the money for NEO. Like, what exactly is going on here? This has just been such a monster week, a monster month, a monster year. And guess what? This ain't stopping. We're not even coming close to finishing, man. We're going to be here forever. You've already found the best show on YouTube, and we're here for you. Look at this. This is a monster. These days, $1.30 now. Look at AMD run, guys. We waited for that price, gave you the price, all the way to the downside, $1.40 in the money, $1 in the money on Facebook, JD ripping, NEO ripping. This has been another outstanding morning, guys. We saw the bids come through, and here they come again for the NASDAQ.
Yeah, and we did get that SoFi. I'm going to come back to it. I know there's small caps that are running, guys, but it's the big cap names that are moving. This market is, even as it comes back, you're seeing some strength. SoFi still trying to break out from that 720. I'm taking some out on the way to 750. Made the mistake yesterday of not banking on SoFi. I let a 720 go all the way to 750 without taking profit. I'm not going to make that same mistake in here today. If there's one, the Chinese names have been so strong. This feels like it be in it all day type of thing if the market rallies, because there's room to $100. On Alibaba, but 95, 97 and a half, those things are going to come first. But Alibaba now starting to show some serious strength here, guys. If it breaks to 94 again, I want 94.5 to 95 for the first out, and then we're looking just how far can we run. This will be the first day, if we can, that we break that high from last week, and if we do, you want to hold on to some of these long opportunities. I did take some profit in Microsoft, and I did get out of Tesla, as that is now joining the party. Tesla, super strong. Through the high of the day, hey, I longed every single day for the last couple of weeks in Tesla. We lost on one short here. I'm going back to thinking it's going to be a long day. All three longs working out. And I want to add Tesla to the list, but I like the 750. I want to jump back in front of that.
Yeah, off the sticky note, a huge winner, as we're going to tweet this out right now for AMD, as you can sort of see where it's going, man. I mean, this is what it's all about. Like, watch me, follow me on the sticky note every single day. Hopefully you're able to see that. We'll get some, big trades going, and then it's just about education for me. Why did we like AMD? We've been long AMD every single day, and I said to you guys, some days we're going to have to try to hold. AMD rip city right now, and yeah, the Chinese name's starting to go, man. No surprise. Look at this. AMD's now a hundy. We're long 97.50, boys, in the back there. So a big move here for AMD as it's starting to climb. We said, again, with my kid on the way in, man, bring him on the show. We said, find something you like and hold it. We've got 4 longs. They're all monsters. Let's do some backflips. I hope your day's going well, Brendo.
Strength in EV stocks as well so far. Lucid, guys, up 5.3% after a couple of decent days, taking out some of those levels from the past 2 days. And wow, Rivian on a huge bounce back, taking out levels from the past 2 days as well.
Yeah, is Baxter banking over there? Yes, Baxter. Attaboy. Attaboy, Baxter. That's what we talked about. You got to stick with your guns, man. We wanted the longs. Baxter back there banking, and I hope that's the truth.
Of course it's the truth. No one's going to make it up. Come on, you know it's the truth.
Well, some people fake it till they make it, but I believe in Baxter. Let's go, Baxter.
Yeah, we believe. NVIDIA now through 184, guys, so this one is now jailbroken. If you miss out on a bid, I don't want this if it comes back now. The 3 longs that I'm in, we're going to have to roll with. I still might get a chance at Tesla, but NVIDIA has come and gone. You've got to be able to accept that. SoFi's still trying to run here. As we start to get to some elevated prices, I'm just going to highlight a name that's now up 9% and continuing to churn. I didn't think we'd come into 25.50 on a firm, but that is a double top. And I'm missing 2 days of data for some reason, but a double top on a firm at 25.50. If we get to that price level, you might see me in a short in front of that level, 25.50. It's still a good 50 cents away, but a firm almost at 10% already. That feels a little bit far for them, but we've seen that squeeze in the past.
Guys, there's no better feeling than to have AMD at the very day's low. This is 3 days in a row we've picked AMD up at the ultimate bottom. So, again, do we have enough shares left? No, we do not. But AMD, a nice move to the upside here as it continues to go, man. And like I said, you stick with your guns, you get going upside, man. So it's been a nice move, and there it is, 105. It's over that. It was just $100.05, not 105. the price right now. But there goes JD, is kind of having a little bit of a struggle time. We marked down 56.50 as a level of concern for us there, but there it is right there, man. It didn't break through 56.50, so we're still in this. We only have, and again, we took it pretty light there, so it's a nice win when you can take 50 cents, but at the same time, we're going to hold out for a little higher. I'm not super impressed with the way these Chinese names have gone, considering the market and like the kind of damage that AMD did and Facebook and so on and so forth. So NIO right now, though, I mean, talk about another name here, NIO, right on the sticky note. It's one of our number one ideas here on the sticky note for today. It's NIO. I mean, look at these notes here. JD didn't touch 56.50. There's NIO right down here, 15.50 break. So if you just took one trade today, that's 60 cents in the money right there. NIO. And then we have Facebook long, that's $3 in the money or $2 in the money, so on and so forth. Brendan.
Another runner, former runner, guys, and retail favorite, Jumia, JMIA, e-commerce platform as well, up on a good report. So back through $6 and then some to the upside for JMIA.
Well, I just rang the register a little bit on a piece of that trade in Alibaba, but my eyeballs are on Tesla right now. It's sort of always on to the next. About a couple of bucks in the money on the Microsoft trade, but Tesla just came to 752, and I was looking for 750s on the back end to catch a bit of a dip. If it doesn't take out the high from here, I might dip a little bit lower down into this 45 to 48 range. I just want a nice little tight dip buy if I can catch it on that name. SoFi continues to run. But again, it's still having trouble getting through like 735. 735, 750. You can see that's exactly what happened yesterday. It got to this price range and started pulling back. Today feels definitely stronger in the market. So I think we're going to stick a little bit more aggressively to SoFi here and maybe buy some of these dips. We like the price range we're in. Microsoft it's hard to tell, but Microsoft is now broken out. The next level up, 270 was big support for Microsoft. So you better believe 270 could be that resistance point. I think if it gets there, we'll bank the $4. It's not been as strong as some other names in the market, so I wouldn't want to hold on to it quite as heavily as we were some of the others. I'm looking for to buy this dip as it's coming in Alibaba. We did take some profit out. I'm going to come back to buying the dip into 93. As long as we're above these pre-market lows, this is a hold. I want to see if we can't break this channel, break 95 and get up into 100 on some market strength, which means I want to be buying all of these dips.
All right, we just got out of this name. Well, we're still holding one small piece, but JD, again, failed at that level, right? And so there it is, a nice little move. Yeah, some of these names coming down. Baxter apparently just made like more money than any of the guys on the floor intraday trading Rivian to the long side. So congratulations, Baxter, on Rivian to the long side there. Smashing records. Good job there, Baxter. Okay, NIO, all right, still 40 cents in the money, but as some of these names come back in, 1602 was our best out there. Look at the market starting to fall down. Like, what can happen here? And look, we got out. We got out of, well, I mean, we took one out at 205. Like, the market's falling down, but Facebook is Rip City still. Wow, Facebook $2 now in the money, AMD $2 in the money. Yeah, some of these NASDAQ, look at Facebook. Is there, like, I guess Facebook is just a hold all day here? Like, this just does not want to go down. I was like, oh my God, the market's falling down here. Might have to get out of some of this FB, but no, sirree. This name just continues. We're already at that level, 205.50. Now that I see this, it was just here yesterday off the open. So we got to watch out for that level. And then you're going to be running into a little bit of support here, I guess, or I guess resistance, but that's high up. That's 208, 209. So we're going to have to watch out for Facebook right now. I think we'll get out of one. Look at the market coming back in here. So yeah, oh, we should have just got that out. Let's get one more piece out of Facebook and then reload the long lower. We know it's strong. We can trust Facebook. But again, we don't, you know, when you got $1, $1.50, $2 in the money, when the market's weak and you're long, you know, definitely should have been taking some out there at 205. So let's watch this name. It's coming back in. We got to find some better spots for longs.
Yeah, exactly.
Even AMD. I don't know.
Everything just came back in. I just got in on Tesla on the dip. NVIDIA's still at about 181. I'm looking to get that dip buy as well. I am watching Sundial, guys. If it gets to 50 cents, I've already paid for the shorts. I will be trading some Sundial if I get it at 50 cents. I think that's kind of low-hanging fruit. You probably could have guessed that. But NVIDIA, I missed it the first time through. We're now back at that 181 price. So I'm going to take a first look. But that is a pretty big dip. And we already, look, we're still in Alibaba. We like that hold. Microsoft, we still have. SoFi, we still have. I do want to add NVIDIA to that list. I'm still looking for that short on Affirm. It looks like it's having some trouble even getting to that 25.50. But with all of these longs, I do want to put something in the pocket in the other direction. Affirm has a wick high through 25. That does set it up. You know, sometimes you don't get the price you want. If it's not going to test exactly 25.50, it got pretty darn close. So I'm going to work into the short trade in Affirm there. I still didn't get NVIDIA there. Like every single time I pop on the bid of this stock, it's just, it doesn't want to give you the fill. I'm like, yeah, there we are. Just complain about it a few more times. That's all you got to do. Like I'm sitting here whining and complaining about not getting NVIDIA the first time. Now let's see if it can hold through that 180 level. The reverse is trying to be on. Only short I got right now is Affirm. I want to add something to that list. I should have to check back in on that NU, because if NU didn't break 5 to the long side, then it should be a short. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to cancel this. That should be a short off of $5 for sure. You might not see that price again. That's 2 wick tops at 5.
Yeah, I was always a little hesitant to trade that NU a little bit today. Okay, so we'll average into Facebook here as it's making a move down into some 2.0. I mean, now that we got to look at it. We got to make sure we get the right prices in there. But Facebook, you know, this is a 20-minute chart. Let's go over to a 1 minute here. We just took it off VWAP, off the 50 period right there. So, you know, it does have an opportunity. Facebook was already at 202 today. We talked about using that as possibly our out if things go sour. So, hey, if this NASDAQ does fail right there, then yeah, that's going to be a big loser. So we'll have to wait to see about that 202. But right now, it's working. It's starting to go higher. We just reloaded the long. Obviously, you saw that. So now we got to get something out on the upside, which we just do right there. We just got long at 71, and we just took some out at 15 there. So another win there for Facebook. But this is a name. I'm going to get another piece out. I just don't know if I tried. I missed it there. Offered 204. I just don't know if I trust the market down here. Normally, I want to go long if we're above the 50 period. So this is a little shady, but we've been in these shady spots before, and it's worked out. So let's just see if it can hold it. We know we're in the right names off that reload. Okay, we're reloaded. There on Facebook, just took another out upside there. Long now 203.60, $1.80 in the money on AMD, 45 cents in the money on Facebook, and 60 on NIO. Brendo.
Just having a look at applied UV, AUVI up on a new contract this morning. This is over here, multi-million-dollar contract with the school board. This company has a 13 million market cap currently, so heads up on that. Back to day highs here, AUVI on the run, guys.
Yeah, that's, look, AUVI, I saw that in the chat. A couple of people were talking about that one this morning, so I do want to get over to it, but already in sort of as many positions as I want to take. And if I add something, it might be Sundial or Mullen, like a small cap there. NVIDIA makes the base out at our price at 181. Going to start getting some shares out once we get back up to that 182 mark. Tesla back above 750, heading towards 760. Like if this is breakout day, then I don't see why we shouldn't see 775 to 785, somewhere in that channel for Tesla. And last time it did this, I kind of got out way too early. I don't want to make that same mistake again, but NVIDIA is starting to work. Microsoft, that's been sitting in the money. It never had as big of a dip as others. Microsoft. However, as we start to rebound to the upside, you know, I did put them on one short. That's going to come into trouble, obviously. Like if everything works to the upside, I'm probably going to get stopped out of Affirm here. But for now, Affirm is still in the money to the short. So hopefully we've picked the right one to go against the grain on here. Although Affirm, like I said, Affirm has definitely squeezed on me before.
Yeah, we're not getting too much squeeze except for to the upside on the longs. So that's okay. We want this market to squeeze a little bit. I feel like, you know, it keeps testing these 50 periods. And like, I'm going to get one more position out here and then we can hold the rest for Facebook. It's just like, I don't trust the direction right now. I would love to be right. I mean, we've already been right. Facebook is, again, another banger. Could easily be, you know, just reviewed again today into this level. We've liked Facebook long for quite a while there. Now we're at the highest spot we've been at all day for ourselves as that reload on Facebook just happened there at the 50 period and at VWAP. We just got 203.70 long, right? Now it's at 204.70. So that's a big trade there. AMD, missed that bid down there at the 50 period, 98.50. That would have been pretty sweet, but we already had that nice long. We're going to see if we can retest a Hyundai right now. But yeah, NIO, we got out of JD when that fell down. We're still positive on the name, believe it or not. So out of JD as that fell down, that name's not working. That 56.50 was just a great level. It didn't break it, but that was a good level to look at there. That's where we got out of our longs there for 70 cents before losing 70 cents on the back end of of the trade. So good out maybe on Facebook there as we just ripped a 204.80 again. So we took that fill. Now we're going to have to let this fly down a little bit now. We've already cashed in. Our net is already at our daily goal, which is a great feeling 20 minutes in. But at the same time, we're looking for more, man. And I feel like I gave too much up by not getting out at a hundy there for AMD. And not only that, we wrote that exact level, on our note right here. This is when AMC was at $96 or $97. It caught an upgrade. Can we get to 100 right there? We talked about it. It's right here on AMD. That's what we liked. We took the trade, and it went to $100. So, I mean, right there, should have got out of that. Got a little bit, rose-colored glasses there, thinking that we could even stay above. But now you see the NASDAQ's falling down. So it's a good thing we did empty out our clip on a lot of these trades, guys.
Yeah, you had to take some profits on those to the upside. That's why we took some bob off. Not a lot. I mean, I still want to hold on to that. I did ring the register on some Tesla when we got back above that 750, and I will look to see if we can continue to hold that 45 area. We like to dip. I might get back into it. The one short starting to come in, obviously that Affirm into VWAP. I'll take some shares out. If I believe it's a long day, you want to be aggressive taking some of your outs there. SoFi, again, right, like you cannot get through that 735. So it's coming right back into 7 even. I want to be patient. Let's see it consolidate. Last time we were too eager to jump back on the bid when we pulled back in on this particular name. I do like what Microsoft is doing. It did not get to that 270 target, but it still looks pretty strong. Got a nice little upward trend to it. Every single time this is rolled back in, it's putting in these higher lows. Would it be great to get 265s again? Sure, it would be, but if it's going to go in your favor, you'd almost rather you not get that fill. Let's just continue the trend of the upside. That would be much better. I promised I would look at Mullen. It didn't get to that 140 or 150, so you're not going to see me in the short, but it has come all the way back in. Looks like that one has been a bit of a fade, guys.
Yeah, I don't trust myself with these trades right now, and the reason is that I tend to hold everything, and it's just the market right now is not like I'm loving this Facebook trade because it's been so good, but I just got another piece out. I just don't trust. I don't trust this bottom, man. Like the NASDAQ, this is just a funny chart because it's to the downside, and then you get these monster wicks. Like it'll go down, like it just went down to the day's low, and then the next candle up is like right back into a nice successful level again, and then it wicks down again. So I just feel like although we're up 1.75%, I don't really trust this. As I say that, Facebook now taking out the highs again of 205. Like, man, do we have the right names or what? Like, I don't trust them, but they're working. So, hey, maybe we have to get back. Look at this Facebook trade, man. We wrote down Facebook again on, I can't just keep showing you the sticky note, well, I can. But it's just, we're at the day's high now. This name is Rip City. Obviously wish we still had it all, as right now you're taking out the day's high on Facebook, and we're nowhere near the day's high in the market. We're actually like, still in the middle, if not even lower than halfway. How far is Facebook going to go if this market actually starts going up? So I really like this name here. I think we're into only 10, well, we have about 15% left of our position. So, we have a few more bullets to fire before we get out. But, I like this play. It's up to 205. We just touched 205.50. Let's put an offer at 205.50. Get some out. There's a big day ahead of us still, man. It's only 27 minutes in. So, I mean, as much as, we can celebrate this move, there's either there's still a drastic move coming one way or the other. So,
well, it's worth keeping in mind.
Yeah.
Like what the futures have done here. Like I know everyone's going to be happy with the fact that we're up, but we're still inside of the opening range, right? Like you've got the NASDAQ in front of the last couple of highs, and that's now turned into support and not breaking out of today's high. So that's the context that we're working into, and it hasn't gotten through. Like we haven't actually even shoot through last week's highs either. So you're still in the pocket. Like if you like a long, even if it's pulled back and come back against you, like we're still in the pocket. If the NASDAQ breaks below 12.4, then I think you get a little bit more concerned with it. I look over at volatility. It's trying to spike, but UVXY is still below 15. And if it's below 15, that means we can still be working here. I almost got into Sundial just now, but I think I want to be a little bit more cautious with that. I'm going to continue to trim Affirm on the way downside. It's the only short I have. But as it gets close to that 24 level, I think it might turn into some buyers down there, especially looking at what the market has done. So we want to continue to make sure we take profit on that. SoFi looks like it's going to be relatively weak. Alibaba is now challenging. It's challenging that bottom, guys. We did the dip at 93s. Yeah, now it's challenging. JD broke the lows. BOBA looking to do the same, so the Chinese names maybe not as strong as we thought, as these could take out these BOBAs. But if it has a chance to bounce, you're still, like I said, still inside the range. That means you have not invalidated some of these longs that we like. And speaking of one that we almost forgot about, Home Depot. That must have just bounced off of 300. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the fill. Yep, there it is. So it bounced off of 300 at the open. It just came down here and picked up 301s. They had a glowing report. But as it comes back and try to take out those highs, the call was coming on, and now you're dipping in front of that 300 level. I said I'd be in front of the 300 level. That's kind of hard to ignore. If it doesn't hold 300, I'll probably be buying the 95s if it gets there. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't, obviously. But Home Depot up still 2%, but down $8 from the open. Let's see if we can get some of that back.
Yeah, here's that 1550 trade that we had on today's sticky note. So hopefully you're able to look at that as that's just ripping to the upside. And the reason why I talk about this is, I was disappointed with JD. Obviously, you just talked about BOBA there as well. The only Chinese name is Neo, it looks like right now. I mean, I shouldn't say the only. I haven't looked at them all. But like Pinduo Duo. And everyone's favorite, get ready for this one. Dada. Didn't they report? We were talking about
Dada reported.
Yeah, so Dada,
100%.
we can take a look at that one.
Brendan left it off the list because he's,
Yeah. He's too busy. But there it is, Dada right now, 1610, for NIO, as that is at day's high. And there's the sticky note level one more time of 1550 right there. Shout out to Bears Bulls Media right there. 1550 on the sticky note. So you guys can find that again. Thank you for all 42 retweets now. Wow. Thank you so much for that. The more people that see these, man, this is like a mini Wall Street bets right here, guys. We can get more people watching out for these levels. Hey, look at this. Now, I mean, whatever. I'm fine sharing it. I'm already in the trade. Like, I'm good to give this out. And some people message me, why do you do this for free? You should charge. Well, that's the whole point. I want to do this for free. I want to give people these monies, right? We want to give people an enjoyment for trading. I mean, trading gets such a bad rap. Like, it's just a casino. I even asked O'Leary about that. My friend, Kevin O'Leary, talking about how day trading is a casino. Is it a casino? I don't walk into a casino and win 90% of the time. Okay, but day trading, a little bit of a different story right now in the last couple weeks anyways. Big time movement, man. We're 5-1 last 6 days, and today, unless I do something catastrophic, should be another good one. So, hey, this ain't no casino. This is an educated casino. That's why I share with you guys the sticky note. Hopefully we can all learn together. Not only that, I look at the notes that you guys give. There's a lot of messages that come through every day on PMs, or DMs, I guess they call them, on the sticky note itself, you guys giving ideas. There's other names to look at all the time, and we thank you for that. Whoa. Even yesterday, Dominic gave you that AWH, and it was like one of your better stocks.
That was my number one stock.
There you go.
That's why I said to Dominic, the reason I was looking at Mullen is like, if it comes to a level, those runners, the better the runner is, the better a top it gives you, and that's why AWS was so good. I want to check back in on Roblox for you guys here, but I do believe, I don't know if we're ready for Brennan. It is 10 o'clock. Time to see what's happening now. What happened to...
Hey guys, a lot of green numbers to show you right across the board here. Nice reversal off of what we saw this time yesterday. 1.4% there for the S&P, 1.1 for the Dow. The Russell nicely strong as well. It's the 2000 leading 2%. NASDAQ overall doing the heavy lifting today. 1.8, 1.72 there for the composite and the 100. A few things we were discussing in the pre-market. If you joined us, Walmart gave you a nice follow-through trade through that pre-market low. A couple of dollars to the downside. It is trying now to find a bit of a base, but very weak for Walmart still. UAL, wow, 6.25% still lifting all of the airlines. That was the pre-market break up to 46.5. Very strong for airlines off of that, guys. Back over to you.
Thank you very much there, Brendo. I mean, I'll get to, we're testing the bottom on BOBA, so that's now come back a dollar against us. It's jailbreak time to the downside on Affirm as well. Tesla back to that 750 mark, so it's kind of barcoding, but everything's still sort of in its ranges, so we don't have to be too worried about them. It's just Roblox here that just went red on the day. Look, the market's pretty strong here, and I'm not exactly sure. It could just be a rejection of this 34 level at the open, but now you're starting to really go gangbusters here on Roblox. Now, yesterday's bottom was right here at 31.40. You go to Friday, 31.40, big level, 31 as well the day before that. So it's into a channel where if it doesn't bounce, you're running into some trouble in Roblox. But I don't want to trade it blind. I was not looking at it this morning, so I'm not going to just jump into a blind trade here when we've already got enough names. But watch out for your roadblocks at that 31 to 31.40 level. Affirm starting to slow down as the market tries to bounce back here to the upside. I didn't get any shares out at 24 even, so I might just take some more out in front of 24.25. Want to make sure we're trimming the short. If we think it's a long day, well, you don't want to get off bounds with your short trades, and certainly. Affirm has squeezed them before, like we talked about. That 300 buy or the 301 buy on Helm Depot. We didn't get this one, the first time it bounced off 300. We got it now. It's trying to get back above 304. My target is to try to get about 307. I'm not even thinking about the high of the day here. I feel like Walmart's dragging some of these names to the downside. So as much as I like the dip buy in front of 300, it's going to be a hard look for this name to get too far above that. And I said the word target, and we didn't even look at this one. They report later this week. They also got dragged down on Walmart News, which if they had already reported and Walmart dragged them down, I'd say buy it right now. But I think you have to wait till they report. But it's worth watching this one as it is through last week's bottoms on target. If we see it hold 210, that's a great level for it.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I was just reading some of these things here about the casino and gambling and trading. And, I think there's an element, obviously, of luck in both sides of things. Like, yesterday, I consider it was pretty unlucky when we're in all those longs, and then all of a sudden news came out, crashed the market. We're obviously still able to stay positive because we had our outs. But that's what I'm sort of thinking about, because I saw, was it Mr. Karen? Yeah, Mr. Karen out there talking about blackjack. And yeah, 100%. Like, you got to know when to split, when to double down, when to fold or hold, stand, all that stuff. Well, there's still calculated risks, right? And so I think that it's the same kind of plays here. When I'm looking, that's why we have these lines. These are just basic rules that I've back tested and followed. And when you're showing an 11 and the dealer's showing a 4, you double down on that, right? And I think there's certain areas of the market where this happens, and that's the whole point of trading, is you want to put yourself in the absolute best position you can. And hey, what can happen is you have 11, double down, boom, you get a deuce. Now you have 13. Dude has a 4, he flips over a 7, then dealer gets it, and you're busted and you lost double your money. Is it still the right play? Of course it is. But, sometimes things are going to fall against you. And that's where I'm very, very grateful whenever I'm in trades and they actually work. It just happens that today we're going to go 4 for 4, and that's good. You try to be as humble and try to stay as realistic, which is why I'm not in anything else right now. I want to find great setups. I want to get that opportunity just to get a 20 and say stand, Right now we're standing with what we have and we're looking for better opportunities. The market's pulling in right now. We took advantage. Look where we just got out. This is what I'm talking about. We're sitting here. Old Sean, which I'm very old, but a month ago, would have probably scalped out most of this. We're still out, but look at that. We held for 205 again on Facebook. I would have panicked when it got down here. We're holding out. We're putting ourselves what we think to be in the best positions, and that's why we have the sticky note. That's why we have those things. These are ideas that I consider, for me, good ideas. So I'm trying to share them. There's NEO. It just coming back in. Maybe if we take 16 back down to the downside, we get out of NEO and we give up that 30 cents on the high side. But I think that's a good play. But we're staring at 1590 here. So I'm actually going to change it to 1590. If we take out VWAP, and this is part of what I'm talking about, you're at the table. The blackjack, the dealer's running hot right now. If I can get out of here with the shirt on my back, let's do that. 1590 we'll get out. We missed the opportunity up there at 1630.
Yeah, I missed the opportunity on Roblox. I should have just taken that break that we're talking about the level, and it's just churning through it. Brendan just said he doesn't see anything. I don't see anything. You're now starting to come back and only have one short on, and some of these longs are going to start to get cracked. But Roblox is definitely taking up maybe too much of our time. I see a move like that, and I always see opportunity bells ringing, because when you start to extend past key levels, that's certainly when you get that big opportunity. I already flipped NVIDIA. There we go. NVIDIA now coming right back in to where we liked that support. So for now, still valid. I think there's room to 195, 200. We've talked about this. We're still sitting inside of the pocket, so I don't want to get too too aggressive in either direction with NVIDIA. It still has a chance to break out here, and the market is still testing those lows without actually breaking them. But I need to find myself another couple of shorts here, at least at some point. I don't want it to be anything like a NEO. Look how strong NEO has been. I got to cancel these dip buys because obviously we didn't get the dip buy in NIO today. 2 days in a row we liked it long. We didn't catch it today, and it got through that 16 level. I don't want to be short NEO today, but that is a wick off top. It's definitely a place that you want to be taking some profit if you get a chance to do it. It makes all the sense in the world here. If you haven't taken profit in NIO, I would certainly be thinking about it. Slide over to Tesla on the 15. And you're going to see it. Like there's some scalp trades in there back up to that 750, but it has not been able to break back out. Now you're just looking to see. We test back in here, either that 740 level or right back at 745. You want to see a consolidation and then hold that bid. If it can't do it and we take out 12.4 in the NASDAQ, well, that could be all she wrote. However, I keep looking over at UVXY. We are still holding well below that gap. So as long as we're going to do that, I think we still have a chance to maybe bounce in the market. But that's like you had a 30-cent run to the upside in UVXY. That's part of this little rush that we had back into some of these lows on the overall market, which means reload if your level's in play. Otherwise, if you get stopped out here and UVXY keeps going, you want to be very patient getting back in. But none of these levels have stopped out yet.
All right. No. Yeah. I mean, that's the funny part right now is we just got an opportunity to reload. Oh, one position that just did stop out. We just reloaded on Facebook as it just came in right there, 203. So let's wait to see, man, if we can get this back up to 204, anything around there. I'm actually in the 70s waiting, but I'm not holding this. Like if this breaks, I think the order I just put in, well, might have been a mistake. 202.70. The real level is this 202.50 level, but whatever. We'll save ourselves a little bit of money there if it comes back in. We'll get out this one at 202.70 break. Although, I don't know, maybe we got to give this a little more room. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's the cash out. Like when you're making on here a little bit of money and then you can, making a lot and losing a little, that's something that here goes, we're about to get taken out right now on this break back down in. So there you go. One last chance. There it is, out at 70. So that last hit right there, excuse me, was, I'm just trying to find out on a percent basis there. Looks like, well, where did we just get long? We got long at 18 and out at 70. So that was the trade. So 18 out at 70, so 50 cents. Just lost 50 cents there on that Facebook trade. And then we said that we had gotten out of something, but there it is. NEO takes down 90 and we got out. So look at the market pull back in. I've only had 4 longs and we're 4 for 4. So sometimes, holding makes sense when the market's rallying. But when this is happening right now, we're giving everything back. It's time to get out, man. So that's what we did. We are going to look to reload some AMD right here at 98.50 as we're trying to take down some of these levels. But again, you got to respect some of these lower spots here. So let's see what AMD does. The market's coming back in. Actually, I'm just going to cancel that. That's fine. Excuse me, we'll still stay in this, but a break back lower through 98 is going to get me out of this one as well. So some of these names falling back in. I actually didn't really want this 98.50. It's a little early to take bids in AMD with the market falling down here. So let's just do our best. Maybe we'll get out of this and then regroup a little bit lower, 98.20 or so against a flat 98 right here. But yeah, the market, I don't know, man. It's
looks
coming
like
to the
we're
downside.
turning.
Yeah, I'd say
I mean,
so.
Home Depot just came back out, so that 300 doesn't hold. SoFi just broke 7. Tesla's trying to break around this 740 area. So some of these levels are starting to come back in, and it looks like we could be turning into one of those other days here, guys. The only thing I think that's holding up relatively strong, and I just sort of sat there and I was looking at NEO just now, saying to myself, oh, I didn't want to be short NEO, and then watched that wick top and did nothing about it. Microsoft also trying to break out its bottom here. The pre-market lows, it's battling it right now at that 265. I don't think you never stop this one at like a 99, but that 75 area below that 265, that's what now has to hold. There was at least a curl on UVXY, and a curl by meaning it tried to turn around there. If it does, there's a chance that some of these can still hold up, but most of these starting to come out one by one. Home Depot already gone for me, SoFi gone for me, Tesla hanging on by a thread, NVIDIA still holding on, same with BABA. Brendo?
Another one we haven't talked about, I feel like, in a while, guys. Snowflake just popped up here on heavy volume to the downside. In fact, we turned around at 153 up there this morning, straight through to 143, breaking yesterday's low. So pretty weak here for Snow.
All right. What's
there
not
goes
pretty
Softy.
weak right now is AMD, as we just took a 50. We got out of some because we thought it was a little too early, and now we close our eyes and wake up, and it's now 30 cents in the money. So that's going to be a nice trade for us here on AMD. We also went long again on Facebook, and that is working out as well. So here's a 30-cent win right now for AMD to the upside. Even though the market is weak, we try to stay with the strong names. We talked about why we do that all the time. There it is, AMD upside. We're going to get some out. I mean, this just ripped in the money for us 40 cents almost. Now it's 30 cents. It just touched 90 there and faded. So I think that's going to be a good spot to get out of that. And look, we're taking less shares now, trying to see if the rebound is real. So that's all I'm doing. Like, I'm trying to take less shares so that I don't, when I get stopped out, if this market wants to keep going down, then, this is not a monster hit either way. So let's wait to see. AMD, I was 4 cents away right there, 4 cents away from getting a 50-cent winner. So hopefully it can retrace back up. Let's put our offer at 98.89 or something like that. Might as well take a little bit instead of nothing. And there goes Facebook also now in the money, that 40 cents. So let's see if we can get a Facebook offer around this 203 area and take some out for 60 cents on that one. So right now we're just trying to see if we can hold on, but if we can scalp some of these levels right now as the market's trying to go back upside, come on Facebook, you can do it, man. Maybe we can get to this 203.75. So I think that's something that we can wait for. Let's wait for 203.40 just in case this market goes. So we'll do that on Facebook. We'll give it 50 cents and we'll try to make that 50 cents as well.
Yeah, and I just took out the only short that I had as the firm came all the way to the bottom. We just bounced a little bit in the market, so you'll see support just bounced on Alibaba, so that was close to stopping out. It ended up not doing so. Same thing with NVIDIA. It just bounced off of the morning support as well. So you are seeing some support holding. Same thing happened in Tesla as well. It just bounced off of support. So all of those longs at least still working out here. And for me, most of those trades were, we have our price range, you're breaking out on a higher time frame, and I don't want to be scalping it, but it has been a bit of a scalper's market. And I said I got out of a firm, but it's just because it went all the way to the bottom and did a wick off bottom. If it does a wick off top, you talk about going into a short, it does a wick off bottom. I'm not saying I'm going long a firm, but I'm definitely getting out of it when it makes that move. It gave you yesterday's range as an absolute gift, so I'm going to take it and run here on a firm. Coming back over to NEO, well, if you liked it before, it's not really there yet. If we liked it before on the dip buy, there's going to be an opportunity here, it does feel, with this market coming in, to maybe pick up NEO back at that 1540. Relative strength is here for NIO. Out of every single one of these names that I'm looking at that we like for long at the open, the only one that is super, super strong right now, even on this dip, looks like NEO, and that's the one we didn't get into. So as I get out of Tesla, I'm going to do this one for Tesla. I could have scalped Tesla today. I could have scalped Tesla and been up on Tesla, but that's not what I was looking for. I could have done the same thing with Bob and NVIDIA, but that wasn't what I was looking for. On NEO, I don't want to miss this boat as it comes back in because it might be the only long worth grabbing on this way back. I should have hunted some shorts today. Obviously didn't do that with the exception of a firm, so that's a big slap in the face.
Yeah. I think, the only Chinese name for sure, NEO, because everything else has been fail. But we've already got the best of the best right now, so we'll go. Yeah, it's like we're in some sort of zone right now. AMD, we just took out 50 cents, man. I was nervous. This is the thing. I just got to trust myself a little bit more. We talk about having those instincts. They've been on point, but honestly, why did I get so nervous at 98.50 there? Excuse me. I got out of half the trade thinking that it was going to go lower. I really thought we would test 98 on that dip. So this could have been a much bigger winner. But right now, hey, 70 cents in the money right now on AMD and 70 cents in the money on the Facebook reload as well. So right now, man, things are working. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. One more time again, despite getting out of NEO at this level. We didn't take the highest spot for NEO. So I guess I'm not at my highest spot today because I had an unrealized gain up here when NEO was there. But, now that we're flat, we have a relatively two small positions right now. And let's look to put on some more, man. We talked about XLE. We were buying that in the low 70s right now. With oil, I didn't even look at it yet. $84, XLE rocking right now. This has been it. And we called energy as a very, very strong play for the whole year, as I know a lot of people did. It's not rocket science call. But XLE right now, nicely done to the upside. We just bought this dip the other day, and we started buying it down into here. So I'm thinking about, I don't know what you guys think about oil names or anything, but I'm just wondering if it's getting a little extended now to that upside. What it seems like Russia, Ukraine, although obviously I'm not, boots on ground there. I don't know exactly what's happening over there, and I don't think it's very nice. But hopefully that can end at some point, and then you'll maybe see some relief come through oil. But right now you have oil up again today, 0.76%, up to 115. So no relief at the pumps, that's for sure. As oil and XOM, new 52-week high for XOM today, up through $92. But hey, man, we're rocking and rolling. That reload on AMD, wow, down there at 98.50 as we go up $1 right here. So far so good here today. Just got to find some more names. That Rivian, I don't know what price he was in at, but he hit this whole thing.
Probably the 26 break.
Yeah, he probably took a 26 break long. He said he was going to go long something in the morning. He picked Rivian, so that's great. Nice move all the way up, and now it's come all the way back down. So watch out for Rivian right now, making lower moves here. Still up that 5.5%. But I don't know, maybe it's a long through this 26.50, maybe some more work. By the way, AMD, rinse and repeat, baby. Now $1 in the money on that one.
Yeah, actually, BABA did bounce off the lows, and it just got back to 93.50. So bounced off 92. It's back above 93, so we did trim some off there. I'm going to have to take some out in front of the high. Like the last time we got some in front of 94.5. This time we get some in front of 93.5. We'll probably start rinsing and repeating every time it goes down to the pre-market lows. We'll just buy that dip, and then if we continue the breakout, I still think you get past 95, there's room to 100. The market just bounced off the low, so anything that remained valid there, which is for me, NVIDIA, and to an extent Tesla. Tesla actually held the pre-market low, so I have to double check that stop. Because Tesla did not break the pre-market lows, and I did get out of it, so that could be on me. But the NASDAQ, hey, it just held that 12.4, and we're now bouncing off of it. So you held some support. So anything that held its support is still valid into that long side of the trade. I missed INDO, but you mentioned energy. Yesterday, there were all of these low float energy names that started to go and were absolutely gangbusters. This one just took out the 20 level and put a bit of a wick top here. I like the shorts on both these. It was Indo and IMPP. IMPP's out of commission because of an offering. Indo was still very much in play. I'll short it off the highs. If it's put a wick top off 20, I'm going to trade it. Brendo and the small cap recap. Let's go.
Hey guys, yeah, another relatively quiet day. We had a couple of little ones, bottom end of the list this morning. This one, New Holdings, which is that new bank, Warren Buffett, Neo Bank. 5 at the top was a couple of days ago high that ends up being resistance today. And then I really like this 4 to 410 area. Came into play a couple of times over the past couple of days. So I mentioned I liked it a lot higher, 550 just before the open. That didn't happen, rejected hard off of 5. I did try it long initially, but got out and immediately short. So that gave you a nice trade down to 420 now. I'm actually working into the long versus that 410 at the bottom for NU. Veru, VERU, failed 14.5. If you go back on the daily chart, 2-3 times it's failed at 14.5. I wanted this below 14, got a horrible fill on the way through, but VERU, sorry Fahad, coming back to the downside today, but hey, it's still positive on the day, guys.
Yeah, don't worry about Fahad. Fahad's scalping that thing. He's making that money right there. So new trade alert right now for me is going to be Softy. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be a long time here. We're long at 40. If it breaks back down below 265, we're gonna get out of here. The market, I thought, was trying to take that 50 period. This is a name that was still near the bottom. It's been getting hit, so we were like, you know what? This is worth taking a shot here. So we're out of the money now 10 cents. I mean, we could just get out of this if we didn't really believe in it. But let's try to hold this one. We're 50 cents of the money on Facebook and AMD, more than $1 in the money on that name. But you know what? One name I haven't looked at as I type it on the wrong screen, Apple here today. So, oh man, it got to that 150. I mean, it got to 149.50. So it came pretty darn close right there. And since then, it's been hovering below its 50 period. Man, I got this frog in my throat today. Below this 50 period and below VWAP right now. So although it looks very similar, obviously here's the NASDAQ. You can put these charts almost side by side and see, you know, these moves are almost equated. So, you know, it's moving around with it. You can see by the percentages as well. But if there's going to be a weak name, you know, we've been shorting Apple. I made the declaration already that we're going to reverse into the longs for Apple. But it's not, you know, it didn't hold, man. That 148 was a level that we were looking at, playing shorts off of 148, if you guys remember, into there, and then yesterday as well. We opened up above that, but now we're below. Didn't think we'd get below 148, so maybe things got to change a little bit here on Apple. So let's just let this settle down, and then we'll see where we go. But I'd like this level. Maybe 147 is going to be the bottom there, but I want to see one more test for Apple. We're already long. Like, look what I'm long. AMD. Like, I might as well just trade the futures, honestly. Like, if I trade the futures, I'd probably be up 30x what I'm up. AMD, Facebook, and Microsoft, right? So we're already long basically the NASDAQ. So I don't need to be sitting here in Apple. As right now, some of these names starting to get real excited. Look at AMD, right back up to 100. We just reloaded at 98.50. So AMD, a nice little move upside, probably worth taking something out at this $100 mark. And oh, actually I'm sitting at there, right now near 100. So if this can get back upside, we'll take it. Microsoft, Facebook, yeah. It's really just AMD, the darling right now of the NASDAQ. What's up, Brendo?
Not good for the overall market here, guys. I just noticed Home Depot. Remember, Home Depot was the good report in the retail space today. Just went green to red. Gave it all back. 310 right through to 295 for HD.
And it wasn't just Home Depot. It was Target also getting slapped as well. That was through the low of the day. I think there's going to be an opportunity there, but they still have to report, right? I see ATR. I know a lot of people are mentioning it here, just sort of sitting in the two longs that are still valid for me. And I'm watching Rivian. Rivian's trying to pop back up. It bounced off 26. Remember that 26 breakout. If it gets to 27 and fails, I like the short side. But ATR, big level here at 4 on the daily. You can see it's starting to churn back into the upside at 4, and it's starting to slow down as well. So it just had a couple of parabolic breaks. $4 is the big level on ATER. I mentioned that Indo as well. I tried to just get it in front of 20 even. Still a chance this could come in for me, but obviously, I might have missed that chance. A little bit of a lower high here on INDO. I'll play it by ear if it tries to get back into that level. But ATER, certainly on my radar, and Rivian as well as it tries to come back. And we always talk about having a stop, having an out. Had an out. It was 26. I didn't like a reverse because I liked a bunch of different longs other than Rivian. Clearly, Rivian would have been a good one. Obviously, it was a big-time breakout trade. But that's a pretty big rejection. When you see a big break like that and then the volume just dies down and it slides with the market, that turns it into a short. And when you go to the 15, you're going to notice here a little something every single time that it's tried to get past that 27 with a couple of notable breakout exceptions, and then 27's turned into resistance. So, I got two longs that are working. We're going to go back into maybe in a firm short if I get it, but Rivian in front of 27. Guys,
look at this. I mean, AMD. Hopefully this can be our trade of the day. And I mean, that right away off the open, we've done that now 4 or 5 days in a row, monster trade. And then that reload right there, and I can even explain why we got out of that 98.50, a nice move back up. And there it is. We just took $1.07. No, we got out at 99.90. Sorry, so 99.90, and we're in at 98.50. So yeah, I guess $1.40 or so there on that last take for AMD. Good one there. We missed the reload, but we're getting close to getting reloaded right now in Facebook. You know what? It just looks like AMD. And again, I apologize. Like, I look at the chat and it's like, oh, how come Sean's not in ATER? Honestly, I'm here for the show, but I'm also here to do some of this, right? And that is make a little bit or a lot of, where is it? Here it is right here, everyone's favorite. This is not my favorite, but we always get requests for that. So look, if I had noticed ATER, great, and there's only about, 7,000 or 8,000 names that we could be trading, and it's just like, I'm looking for the best opportunities. That's why I put on the sticky note. And look, yesterday, one of my better stocks was Veru. We talked about that, right? Yesterday, we traded Veru. We traded Veru yesterday. We traded AMC yesterday. We did the work on those names. And we were long, remember we were long 1270 on Veru yesterday. So if I was looking at that, how easy is that long again today on Veru? Like, I don't think my trades will load up, but we went long yesterday. Oh, there it is, right there. Look at that, 1270. There's my long on Veru yesterday, right? Out 1316, out 1330, and then out at the end of the day, somewhere in here. I don't see the tick, but we got out on a nice upside move for Veru. I don't know where it is there, but anyways, we got out there on Veru. So yeah, of course, it came right back in. That should have been a $2 winner. My bad. I mean, I can't, I'm not on everything, but that was a good look there for Veru again. So yeah, the same thing holds true. I don't have a problem trading any stock. It's just, I got to be on it. I got to be watching, and I got to do a little bit of due diligence. Missed that on Veru, but I'm going to say congratulations, spin the money to anybody that got that long there on Veru. Like, that was a great trade. Right back into yesterday's levels, and boom. Boom goes the dynamite. This is the kind of stuff that, you know, I sit here, I talk to Fahad about this all the time. Like, there's my out right there, 1350 off of a 1275. So right there, it's go back, zoom back. And I actually did work with, and a shout out to Catherine who's here. And it's just like, you know, a friend of one of the viewers, shout out to Nelson there, that I went back and I was drawing lines with her and showing her, like, you want to look back at past support. There's no better of an example today than this Veru. I mean, that was fantastic. Came back in to yesterday's bar-coded supported area. Came right back in there, right off the open. That's a gimme long. That's for sure. Do I have it? No. But there's Veru. So now we put Veru back on, maybe on our baby list here, and we'll watch it for, you know, if it comes back down to 1275. We love AMD there, big man Prad, as that's at, what the hell? Okay, yeah, maybe this won't be trade of the day, as we just got out at 99.90 as AMD rockets to a hundy. But hey, it's the number 2 name on the sticky note for a reason, guys. AMD blast off.
Yeah, absolutely blasting off, and you're seeing this market not do so. We're back below that 2% mark, 1.5 on the NASDAQ. So it is relative strength, relative weakness. Some of the strength has been in oil. I did get into that Indo trade. I talked about missing it the first 3 times at $20. This time I did grab it in front of that 20. It's already coming back into VWAPs. We're able to take a quick little 70-cent scalp. And again, like we talked about ranges, lower high, $20. It was the same thing in yesterday's trade on Indo, but it wasn't at 20. Like the difference yesterday is you were shorting it around this 1850 area, and then it worked back in. So very, very similar style trade here. And I got into ATER in front of that $4 range. Able to pick up 87s. It couldn't get past 388. So that one working back into the downside is ATER. Someone asked about this name. I said $4 is a big level. It couldn't quite churn there, but when it puts the wick top, like it tried to break, it got through 90, back to 93, couldn't get to 4, and now you're starting to come back in on ATR. I haven't taken anything out. I'll probably start doing so around the 75 to 80 mark, but ATR certainly a good one and one that we wanted to make sure we had when it came to the upside. I did miss Rivian just now. Because, you know, it didn't quite get to 27. I was trying to short that on a pop. Like I said, ATR came in. You want to get the fill that you want, not the one where the market decides where it's going to go to. But, yeah, Rivian's starting to come back in here. Didn't pick it up for a short. Neither a firm. That's another one I wanted.
All right, we just reloaded, or not reloaded, we got a new position alert right now, so we'll hit the new position alert. It's going to be Apple. It just went down in the money, 30 cents for us, and we didn't take it. So let's sit on the bid at 147.30, see if we can take that. And again, the market just faded out. So our Facebook came out, and our Microsoft came out, which is fine. They were both, well, here, we can show you. There's Facebook, right? In and out, and then in again, out on the dump through 202. We got out of that one. That might look bad after all when we look back at that, but I'm still, whatever. Don't want to hold it if we're that well below right here. So we're going to go back in short, man. We have Apple. Why did we pick Apple? Well, let's just see. It's at that 148 level. I got to get rid of that wick. I'll do that after this. But we're right there at this 148 level. We just touched VWAP at 148.20. So I'm just going to sit here, and honestly, if Apple... And I'll lose on this trade, and I might lose decent. Wow, now the market's coming back up. I was going to say I might lose decently on this. We're going to wait for about 147. I mean, I was waiting for 147.80. It's going to come right now. And then we're just going to play off this 148.20 and just see if Apple wants to test that. I'm going to say... no, but again, I wouldn't be shorting it if I thought it was going to go back up here. So let's just play the weakness in the market. Let's go over to Apple, short that. There's going to be better names out there than shorting Apple. That's what I got to do. I got to find some research, find some names that are relatively weak. I think we got one in Roblox, that's for sure. We didn't know why that was down 5% today. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree here with Apple. What's up, Brendan?
Just a heads up on this OKYO. I saw a couple people talking about Okio, which is an IPO today. ADS listing. In fact, this is a London-based pharmaceutical company, so UK-based OKYO. So it's not a lot of shares. It's 625,000 ADS shares, representing a total float of 40 million. So not a lot of shares, but halted a couple of times already for OKYO. Let's get a check. Speaking of the UK and everything else in Europe, let's get a check of how things are doing over there. Ms. V, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are positive. Daimler Truck holding up around 6% on upbeat earnings. Vodafone was down earlier after missing market expectations, but now back to the positive territory. Back to you.
Yeah, giving back a little bit here as well in North America, guys, but still a nice day so far, up 1% for the S&P.
Yeah, I mean, 1% for the S&P. You're still 1.4 on the NASDAQ, but it is sort of sliding to the back end here. And yeah, the short we got out of a firm, there was no pop to be had. I mean, obviously, I would have looked back to 24 if we could have got it. I did not get that trade. Obviously, as you can see there, it's starting to really start to fade. Roblox, like you mentioned, Sean, is just super weak. And it's hard to imagine that there isn't something there. It could have just been a rejection of 34. Maybe it's come too far too fast. But down 5% when the market's still up. A little bit surprised by that, and the Home Depot touched 295. That one's absolutely starting to die here. Looking pretty weak for that name. INDO, if you're looking at the energy names, yeah, that one's now broken. It broke 19. I'm on the bid at 1850 to see if we can get the next leg down. So short in the lower high, starting to work out for INDO. We like that one. We like the ATR. We're not going to go over that too much. But Sundial, which is another one which, yeah, I probably should have been on this. It didn't quite get to 50 cents. So obviously I missed out on that. But if it makes any kind of a pop, I will fade Sundial at some point today if it tries to make a move into the upside. It just hasn't really done so. And then if you come back over to another one this morning that we got in and out of pretty quickly, and that was Coinbase. So I tried the short on Coinbase. It immediately stopped out the high. It never got to $70. It's diddling in the middle, unfortunately, for a coin. But this is another which looked so super strong this morning, and now you're seeing successive lower highs. So there's still a chance that we might be looking at Coinbase to the south side. We still have not broken support on the NASDAQ. So if it hasn't taken out its low, I think it can be still valid for you. I'm just down to Bob and NVIDIA for those long trades that fit those parameters here for me. But there was one earlier that we mentioned. I know you talked about Veru. There was a name that I think we were talking about, but also the airlines, guys. UAL.
Oh, yeah.
I know, UAL just broke back below. Remember that 46 level we were talking about in UAL for the breakout? It just retook that level into the downside. So UAL, even one of the stronger names here, that entire space looking so super strong, back below that clean breakout price. So we keep talking about this. Resistance from last week that has yet to get taken out. Here's yet another example of that resistance coming right back into play on a super strong name like a UAL. Not a great sign for the market if we don't start holding levels like this.
All right, no, it's not. And that's why we went over to short Apple. We just took a piece out at 50 there. So I don't know. I got this Hall's menthol thing in here. Okay, here we go. Now we're starting to get excited, man. Short 147.65. We're now 25 cents in the money on the Apple short. I'm just looking to get something out at this bottom. I don't want to, like, again, you know, trade it however you want. I mean, we're in the money nicely now, 40 cents, but I'm just sitting right here at 25 to see if we can catch a bid at the very bottom, but that might be silly. I mean, this is a great short for me. We said, did it just go down there? No, it didn't, almost. Let's put a bid at like 30 then, just to see if we get it out there. I don't need to go all the way to 25. We just went down to 31, so we missed it by 6 cents before taking a 40-cent winner. Hopefully we can come back in. If this market fades out, we know we like Apple against this 148. And quite frankly, it's the only position I have on right now. I told you, I'm going to trade confident positions. Like, this is 3 reloads. Like, well, not really 3. That was just a double short there. And then we reloaded it again at 70 when it went up. And it's just like, let's see if Apple and this market gives it up. I mean, can we go into double digits here, go down below this 1%? I mean, the NASDAQ's been a little sick here this morning. We talked about that, right? Lower highs coming in here. Lower high again, just made right now. So it's only a 1-minute chart. Normally you don't look at like lower highs in a 1-minute chart, but when you're scalping like this, it's working out for me. So here comes Apple right back in. We're sitting at 31. I don't know. This is why, remember I said yesterday, like I make more money when I'm not at my desk? So I feel like it's like, okay, there it is. Yes, sir. Hit the slap shot. We'll say congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Should be a great series against Florida. So that's happening. The Battle of Florida happening and the Battle of Alberta. Obviously,
and no one watching it, probably.
Probably no one watching it, yeah. But I am more interested in the Battle of Alberta. Wow, here we go. Here comes a nice little downside move. I mean, 1 trade in Apple today, and it's a short, baby. So though we declared Apple longs, it didn't stay above that 148. 148. As soon as we got southbound on 148, we switch over to Apple shorts, and there it is again today. So today's stock trades, let's just review. NEO, 1 for 1, monster trade right there. Softy, loser. We have a loser on Softy. But look, this is why I don't equate this like a casino. Like when I'm in trouble here, I can get out. We got out at 265 break. That's saving me $1.30 right now. So sometimes you make these educated guesses and it just works out. That's AMD there. We already know the damage that's been done on AMD by me today. And then JD. This is going to look horrible, but we're actually up on this name. Look at JD fall down. I know Neil talked about Baba being weak. Look at JD being weak. This name is
like,
just...
I don't know how, I'm not sure why.
It was up 10%.
I don't know why Baba hasn't stopped out yet. But it's like, I put 2 position trades on. When we say position trades, I guess I should mean it's more, you're looking at it on a higher time frame and you're planning to hold it all day long, and it's sitting there, like, yeah, it could have scalped out of NVIDIA, could have scalped out of, I don't know why Baba's only now breaking the bottom, but it looks like that one just came out. I'm only now in shorts because at the same time, we finally took out the low. If we can come to the chart a second, guys. There we go. It just took out the bottom on NVIDIA. So we grabbed, essentially, was a 180 long, 170, 750 on the stop. We thought we had room to 185, 190. It's not going to come into play on a weekday. And then all day long, Baba was trying to hold this low. So it was showing some relative strength. It kept on making these bounces. I had a couple of scalp trades in there, but now you're taking out those lows. The weakness is starting to creep back into these markets. There are a few names that have some potential dip buys in there, but the home run to the upside doesn't look like it wants to happen for some of these. There was a lot of room to go if we could have taken out these levels, and we got the names that we liked. It's just not going to work out. But that's what ends up happening. If you get the position trades on and their home runs, fine, but you've got to take your stop out. If you don't, you're going to run into a heck of a lot of trouble. You know, I said I'd get into that ATR. It is starting to come into the downside on ATR. For anyone holding the long, it's still a good long. When this broke, it broke at 350, and it's still holding VWAP, but obviously starting to come in. Indo as well, starting to come back. It's about $1 in the money. But I tried to get Rivian. I tried to add to a firm. Just couldn't get any of those at those tops. And this market starting to break some key support, unfortunately.
So there it is again. We hit that siren. I mean, you know, when you're feeling it, honestly, it's just like I didn't have to wait. And I know what Neil's saying, and I'm looking for tops too. Like, that's why I'm not short Roblox right now. Like, it was sort of still going down, and I just didn't believe in it. But, like, I've got a feel right now. And, I mean, Apple, we just shorted Apple. I mean, and now it's just cracked through 147. Like, we're short at 147.66 right now. Mario Lemieux in the building. So, I mean, it's just like we're getting to the downside right now. We just took that down. We're out of 20, 40, 60. We only have 40% left on this trade. We're trying our best to hold it as much as we can, but down goes Apple, man. And we called this move, so, you know, pretty happy. But look what we're running into right now, this 146.80 level. So we always talk about zooming out, and I talk about doing work with some of the traders behind us. And it's just like, look for the key levels, short the names. Some of these guys, like when we put a video up of me teaching about 2 months ago or something in the room. And I clearly remember it was like, hey guys, have a bias for names. We wanted AMD long. We absolutely destroyed that AMD long, right? Ding, as that goes. We wanted the Apple short. Right now, $1 in the money on the Apple short. We wanted Facebook long. Like, the market is a secondary thing. Have your names, wait for the prices to come in, and that's, you know, as long as you're confident with your trading and, you know, you just watch the stacks flow through. And I mean, look, every day is not gonna work. We talked about that. But when it is working, you got to cash in. And down goes Apple right now. Now 80 cents in the money, starting to go lower, right? I mean, I'm scalping, but still holding on. And we're back into that 80 level. So guess what I'm going to do right now? It's into this level right here. Let's take out one more piece of Apple. And then as the day's coming to a close here for the show, I'm going to be at, again, higher than my highest spot. Why? Because 20 minutes ago, I said, let's find something short. Remember, you guys are putting names in there, and thank you so much for all those names. But we went back to the bread and butter. Now we're cashing in on Apple. And what a great little heat map that looks like there, Brendo. The sector watch is hot fire. Might not stay like that for a while, though.
That's very deceiving.
But right now, Apple, yes, sir. It's one of those pizza days. No pineapple for this guy, but we'll take it. It's a Hawaiian kind of day here on Pizzaville. Brendan, at the big screen.
Indeed, yeah, a lot of green to show you guys, but 2 days in a row, it's fading. So it was actually way more green than it is right now. I also just noticed we're under 1,000 to 300,000 subs, guys, under 900 in fact. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe. Here we go. It's tech stocks, top left, leading the way right now. CRM and Now, the only two kind of standing out to the downside, but everything else looks great. Semiconductors, hardware equipment makers, all positive. Banks very strong as well, right across the entire group, showing a lot of strength. There's Citigroup, the Warren Buffett effect. Citigroup up 7%. I direct your attention over here. Paramount, 10%. Another Warren Buffett name off that 13F. Beside it, Take-Two, they report it. So TTWO up 10% off that report. I want to point out some of the airlines here. We mentioned UAL 5.5%, AAL 4%. Down here, other travel names also strong. Hotels, Booking.com. There's the cruise lines here, all in positive territory as well. But some of the retailers to the downside off of that Walmart move, including Lowe's, BBY. There's Target here as well. I was going to point, there's another, Kroger, KR, 2.7%. So some of the grocery retailers specifically under pressure off of that Walmart report. Communication stocks we talked about, material stocks and energy stocks also positive. But as I said, the green is slowly fading again, guys.
Oh yeah, it's definitely fading. You're below 1%. You hold on to your shorts, guys. The money's sort of coming in on all of them. And support is definitely getting cracked here on the overall NASDAQ. I don't know where the next level down is going to be there, but the ES has a 4,000 spot, which I'm not saying it comes into play. There is support at 40.25. But yeah, the way it's heading, you know what's happened in the past, so hold on to your shorts.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to do as Neil says. Let's just hold on. I mean, look, we're $1 in the money now on Apple. We just put this trade on. Like, things working, man. Today, like I said, I mean, Ice Cube's going to come after and sue me, man, because honestly, today is another good day. And I shout him out and give him credit for that. But it's not even Friday yet. So if you guys watch those movies, man, check them out. Don't watch them with your kids. Friday, next Friday, things like that. Great movie there. And don't steal someone's bike also. So here we go. You know, nice moves down for Apple. We just tweeted that out. And again, like, you know, we hit the longs when the longs are there. When they're not, we let them settle down. This Facebook trade is another perfect example of that. Market was rallying like, not like crazy, but Facebook was super strong. As soon as it gave up this bottom there of 202, we're out of dodge on that one, man. See you later. Put that money in the bank and just like don't have to worry about this. So right now, though, I like Facebook for a long at some point, right? So yesterday into the close, we did dance around this 199 2 bills. We're right there again. Something's going to have to change in this market for me to change my mind because we're just resting on Apple right now. We may just carry this all the way. Neil was talking about carrying NVIDIA and BABA and things like that. Sometimes it's just like, hey.
That was a plan, but plans change.
The plans, that's what I'm saying. The plan's definitely changing. So right now, our plan would be to try to watch this Apple. And again, look, 20, 40, 60, 80. Okay, so I only have 20% left now of Apple. We just took a piece out when we went to Brendan. We talked about that right here in the 80s. So that was a good trade for us. Tony has mind control over Debo. Yeah, for sure he does there on Friday.
Nobody has mind control over Debo.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, watch out for your bikes. BTC right now again. Okay, we can look at that real quick.
Don't.
No, it's not.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad at all. I mean, it's just at 30,000. So someone just said
it's below. It just broke.
It just broke. Yeah, it just broke. So that's why we're covering this right now. BTC right here breaks 30,000. This is a nothing burger, honestly. Like, I know we can sit here and complain about Bitcoin, but you don't really need to complain until we break this 28.5, to be honest with you. I mean, that held, ripped up, then it held 29, ripped back up. So let's see if it holds these areas. Like 29.5 now would sort of be the next area of concern for me. And again, we keep saying Fahad. People are going to think Fahad is like, well, they've already said that he's like, you know, the new thing here. But he was asking me about trading crypto off market hours, and you can do that now. There's enough levels and there's enough exchanges right now that even have like a maker-taker fee on crypto or very, very small fees. There's limit orders, there's stop orders. So you can trade crypto 24/7 right now.
My cousin does it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Your cousin, you're telling me.
Second cousin.
Whatever. Who cares? Related family member, but that's the point is that you can trade crypto off hours, and I like it just as much as the market. Unfortunately, and I want to speak for you, but I ain't got no time to trade no crypto after hours. Like yesterday, I had to get home, drive one kid one area, someone else somewhere else, figure out what's going on, threw down the more barbecue there for dinner. And it's just like, this is what's happening, right? So, yeah, crypto, a great thing to trade, especially on weekends when you can't wait for Monday morning markets to open up.
That's what you do when you're young and you don't have a family to do the 24/7 thing. Like I had some bad habits when I started trading. Like it was day trade, make your money there. I would go home and then hop on the computer. There was no crypto, so at that point it was like online poker, and that was sort of my vice. I'd jump into it, and it's all well and good when you're making money. It doesn't make it healthy. I think you have to find your own zone there for everybody, because if it starts taking away from your primary, then it's a bit of a problem. So we show the winners, we show the losers. I'm gonna come back to Coinbase because this is gonna happen to you, right? Like I sat there, and today I had all kinds of long setups that I love. I'm sitting here, I'm not scalping them. I'm gonna hold them to my stop outs, not even take profit till they get to my targets. That ends up losing. And then the shorts that we got into didn't really jump back into them when we had a chance. And here's an example of it. I want to show you Coinbase here because it tried that curl at the open off the highs, it broke the tops. And as I'm sitting there looking at my long style trades, could have jumped right back in. One chance to jump right back into it. Still valid. Wick top, could have jumped back in. 2 times you could have jumped back into this trade, now it's rolling over. And this is the other end of the coin too, right? Like you'll usually see me looking for the shorts a little bit more aggressively when you see that type of a wick top or that type of a setup. But I came in here looking for those longs to hold, finally maybe breaking some of those channels, and sometimes the bias gets the better of you there. But when you have a style of trade, you have to stick to it. And I always say you got to be willing to make the top wick. Not the top wick, but pretty darn close to it on Coinbase. It's all well and good to have a bias in a direction. You still have to execute a trade, find your way back into it when it's still valid. That was certainly true of Coinbase. I didn't get in, but all I can say is at least I got to a firm today. If we have a pullback or a rug pull like this and I don't shorten a firm, then I know I deserve a slap in the face. Brendo and Money Talks, although we just talked about that 30,000 level, ooh, just back above it.
Hey guys, yeah, Money Talks brought to you by the Small Exchange. Sign up today. Use the QR code, smallexchange.com. Very small, easy to understand contracts, guys. Less capital required and no PDT rule. Check out our friends over at the Small Exchange. Here we go. Finally, a little bit of a move down here for the dollar index. So that's a daily chart. You can see now 3 days in a row back to the downside here for the DXY. Big move today as well, 0.8%. So everything nicely positive. Otherwise, the euro almost a full percent. It was earlier. It's worth noting, Canadian dollar relatively flat. It was up about 1/4%, now flat on the day. So some relative weakness there. British pound, 1%. 0.8 for the Swiss franc. Australia, New Zealand, both sharply higher. I mean, the story goes on and on. There was a little bit of positive data overnight in Australia and New Zealand. But yeah, you guys just covered Bitcoin, now green on the day, but back below 30,000, only just green. Ethereum following suit as well. But big move down today, guys, for the dollar index. Typically means risk going back into other instruments, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm not. The dollar's going to move around. I mean, with oil moving and some of these. You talked about the Fed coming out and just like sending out their minions today to talk. So, you know, that is what it is. Shout out to Dominic. I saw it was for you. That's great, Dominic. That, you know, I think you should coach, man. I mean, I'm coaching. I love coaching the kids. It's such a great experience, man. So good for you, Dominic. Stay in there, stay coaching, or try to coach, you mentioned there. So I think that's fantastic for you to do that. So shout out to Dominic for right there. Yeah, I guess this kid had his first practice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the High Park Mariners, the team I'm coaching. My daughter, same thing, man. She's 7, just started T-ball. They're 3-0. So shout out to the High Park Mariners. Let's take it down.
Yeah, Dom, let me know, just DM me exactly how I want some details on that for that first practice. I think it's a heck of a lot of fun. My daughter starts soccer tonight, so she's pretty excited for that. She would have preferred playing, you can't play baseball or T-ball, I guess, at this age until she's a year older. So we put her in soccer for now. Brendan, you said you were interested in some Home Depot, and we're like, after Walmart, you might get a chance at Home Depot at a good price today. Home Depot now down 1% at $292. Really? Okay. That's the kind of market we're looking at here today. But, I mean, that's a pretty solid price, man. Hard pressed to not want this. I knew you talk about that 3-day rule. hard pressed to not just like this one in front of 280 for some dollar cost averaging in on the way back out. It's such a key price for Home Depot that it was bouncing off of, but it couldn't hold 300. That's what happens back into the downside. I will point out, I gave up Alibaba because ultimately, look, it broke our support level. This was we at least were taking some out of BABA and refusing to do so on Nvidia up at those highs, but it couldn't hold a low. You know what? It's not exactly falling off a cliff. If I contrast that with JD and what's going on with JD.com, like I look at that weakness, BABA is still relatively strong. If I'm catching something off the bottom, it's still going to be Alibaba. When I see those two types of split reactions, that tells me that one of them is still valid for a long play, and it's going to be BABA.
We hit the alarm because we just loaded back into AMD. To me, there's only one reload play, and we've done it twice, and it's both times is nice. Right there, 98.80 long. We just took a piece out, 99.20. So right now we're long off of a 1 minute. In 1 minute, this thing just ripped up. So we just took this trade at 10.52 here. Long 98.70 against 98.50. So we have about a 20-cent risk, and then it just blows up into the money there, 20 plus cents again. As there goes Apple. We took some out of Apple because we didn't want to be long, long AMD and short Apple. Doesn't really make sense. We want to cheer for the market one way or the other. But hey, we don't need much cheering when you're long AMD, guys. I mean, this has been a rocket ship to the upside. It's all about picking the right names, right? AMD, boom, today. We had that on our list. We'll take another piece out, though, as it's coming back in. So right there, we'll take another one there for 40 cents on that move. Let's see if AMD can now climb. Again, out too early, man. We're out of already. We're out. Actually, we're not out too early. We're out of about 60%, which is probably too early. But we just went back in again. Like, this is a scalper's market. We've talked about that over and over again. Right now, especially in the open, we love it for sure. AMD, love it. But if this market is going to hang around the bottoms, AMD right here, back to VWAP, back to the 50 period, like you're going to say, oh, it got out there. But that's still, like, this is 98.75. That is 99.25. That's 50 cents in 2 minutes. They're less. So that's going to be good. Let's see if we can hold out for AMD. I mean, I might just hold this the rest of the day if the market keeps on going up. But we do have our out here, 98.50. Now we can rest, hold out. If it takes down 98.50, then we're out. Other than that, let's see if we can moon north of 100. It's always good when we're going to end the show and we're at our highest spot all day, guys.
And I see this GLBE. Someone just asked me if I see any shorts on it. I think they reported, and I haven't looked at the report. I have absolutely no idea what that report was or how it turned out. But when I see price action like this after earnings, which is after market, the stock dropped from $19.50 to $14, and then it just went from 14 back up to 19. So it's basically traveled the entire way back. I would actually have to know what's going on with the story to even think about this, but I think it's sort of obvious. 19 to 20 would sit, 20 obvious resistance here, but I'd like to see exactly what caused it to go all the way back down and then completely reverse. I haven't even checked to see what the short float is there. So that always rings a few alarm bells for me when you see that kind of whipsaw action, like what was so bad that now doesn't seem to matter, and now it's even holding up here at these levels. So I'd be a little bit cautious with this GLBE, and it's doing pretty good volume there as well, guys. Yeah, I know you guys are saying bad report. Yeah, clearly the report was bad. Sort of like negative, bad guidance. The question is, why did it just squeeze back to the upside? If it's just a float thing or short squeeze thing, then yes, I would be shorting it probably in front of that 19 level. But I'm not just going to jump in without reading it. I'll go check that out over at lunchtime. I'm probably going to be in this thing, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing something. And BABA now back above 92, so I will be getting back in that as the market tries to bounce.
Hey guys, yeah, no, look, I hit that alert because people want to know when we're in and out of position. So I'll hit it when I'm talking or whatever. But if you want, I don't have to hit it anymore. It's just that's what it is. Just letting people know because I was getting some feedback and I was reading it and it's like, oh, you know, like they'll get stopped out and then they'll reverse long. And the next thing I know, I'm short, they're long. Well, that's all that I'm doing, letting you guys know that we're in another banger position. So there it is, man. To the upside, nothing but love for you guys out there. Thank you for these suggestions. I'll just hit it when it comes back to me. It's just, today's been such a great day, man. Again, Apple, 40 cents in the money. AMD. There it is. There's your alert, man. Look, just bringing the energy, right? I mean, that's the feedback that we get from you guys. So once again, thank you so much for everything. There it is. Yeah, what's up, druggist? Thank you for that one. No worries. Yeah, no, look, I want the best show for you guys, right? And when I hear about it, it's like, oh man, we need Sean's energy, blah, blah, blah. I love the graphics. We're trying. Oh, and if you guys have any other ideas on graphics, like we're starting to get, our new stage is going to be ready to go there. So we'll have some extra time to work on some of those. But right now, yeah, all good. What's up, Irish Mac? Yeah, we love you guys as well. And we're just here to have some fun. That NVIDIA, I just can't believe, like NVIDIA again, it's about picking the right names. NVIDIA up 2.6%. I think it has to go. Like, I don't see a difference between NVIDIA and AMD. Honestly,
Retail.
I want to, what was that, retail?
Retail likes buying AMD.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why NVIDIA, well, they are already split. Maybe another split coming there. But yeah, AMD up 5% today, and that name is rocking. So, have that in mind when you're trying to pick your names, what you're doing with here. But AMD falling back down now. And again, we have all of our outs, so we're getting ready. If this takes down 98.50, just to make sure, yep, that's going to be our out. So we'll reload this position a little bit and then get out if it takes down near this 98.50. So it is getting ready for a reload area here on AMD. So thank you again for all the kind words on the chat, man. We definitely appreciate you guys more than you appreciate us. Trust me on that one. Over to the big guy at the big desk.
All right, we'll get to earnings here, guys, that are definitely coming either tonight or tomorrow morning. It's worth noting, we left NIO off the board. I have today seen May 25th. I've seen May 18th after market, and I've also seen June 1st. For NEO earnings. So here's what's definitely coming, but we may or may not also get NIO.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like I was so convinced that NEO was reporting this week, and I've seen just all over the place. And it's a little ridiculous. I don't know why it's not easy to figure out. But we talked about Target getting pumped downside, pretty much because of Home Depot. Not Home Depot, sorry, because of Walmart.
Both.
I think.
I mean,
but,
Home Depot.
Yeah, both Home Depot. But Home Depot had a good report. And I feel like Target's going to have a good one as well, but almost like, does it matter if they're going to sell both these names off? I think you just wait a couple of days. It's going to be difficult to look at Home Depot and say you should be sitting around waiting to pick it up, because everything about it looks pretty good in front of that 280. But Lowe's and Target, a couple of big names. I hope we figure out what's going on with NIO, because that's just a confusing one. I don't understand why it's so difficult to peg down those earnings. But Brendan's doing his diligence on it for sure, and I know I was wrong yesterday. We still have to figure out what national day it is here today. We had a pretty good one yesterday. Well,
I just have to say something to Dominic.
Fantastic one. What's Dominic saying?
No, he goes, do whatever you want. Otherwise, I can get Moose and Rocco to handle any issues for y'all. Yeah. No worries on that one. I got some people around that can handle some issues, but I respect that, Dominic, for sure. You're seeing the traders that we have behind us. I mean, this is, there's some security details happening right now as well.
We're building an offensive line.
Thank you, Dominic, for that, my fellow paisan. So let's go over to the Russian queen now with Miss V.
Oh, thank you, Sean. And hey, guys, I hope you're having a great morning. It's a busy day so far. And I remind you, please smash the like button. We need less than 300 likes to 2K. We would really appreciate if you help us. And of course, join Prad and me to continue trading this exciting day. Happy National Walnut Day, everyone.
We're going to have some.
Oh, seriously?
Walnut Day.
Denied.
Yeah, Neil's got the cashews.
Hang on a second.
You guys might remember when Arun was here and he was talking about Costco. I was at Costco last night. We actually filled up gas. We got grass seed. This is another thing that I'm doing. Like, how much of a father am I? Picking up grass seed. And anyways, we should have got some of those as well. The nuts are in the building right now.
You want that.
These nuts right there are pretty good. Yeah, I'll have one.
Don't even act like you don't want to. Forget about a walnut. You want a cashew.
Yeah, the cashews are what it's all about. But if you're baking, man, walnuts, I can't hate on those nuts, man.
So you know what's crazy about this? Remember, when we did that, I know we're going to the next show, but I'll just get this one out of the way. You were talking about gardening.
Yes.
We were at your place and you were showing me the garden in the back.
Yeah.
So remember I took that picture?
Yeah.
So now we got the lavender, strawberries, blueberries.
Have your wife hit up my wife
as well. So we're starting to do the whole thing. That's not me, but it's one of those, you get a house
the wife has
and you get turned into it, and that's what starts happening here, guys. I know it's past 11 o'clock. We'll get it on over. Trader Pratt and Ms.
We're talking about gardening.
Yeah, that's exciting.
We don't want to go to Trader Pratt, do we?
Market bouncing, maybe? Let's go.
Let's go.
Trader Pratt and Ms. V. Go get them.
Talking about gardening, I want to hear that conversation more because my mom's forcing me to garden. It's summertime. It's time to garden. It's time to do all the nasty, get dirty work. But even before I do that, it's time to do the market thing with the beautiful Miss V.
First things first.
First things first. What's up, Miss V?
Thank you, Brad. Oh, amazing day so far, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day.